A big good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to the Silverstone circuit. It's a circuit where celebration is normally the number one order of the day. Just under 8,000 bottles of champagne usually consumed on a race weekend here. Well, we're going to be celebrating this evening the fabulous Assetto Corsa Competizione Championship. It is race 28 on AMX1. It is a pleasure to have you along with us for this evening. My name is Evan Dalton, and joining alongside me is a man who kind of knows his way around a racetrack, or at least he certainly does an AMX racetrack. It is Mr. Connor Nixon. Connor, how are you keeping this evening, or this night for you?
Not too bad, man. Just strolling around, getting ready for this awesome night of AMX, and yeah, it should be a good one. Obviously starting at Silverstone, which, like you said, heaps of bottles of champagne, which we all love and enjoy. And yeah, I think Silverstone's such a legacy track where every time we come here, it's something, you know, it's got this essence of just being special, I guess. So yeah, it should be a good night.
Well, we have a fabulous track and a fabulous grid coming up for you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go more into the cars, the GT3 cars, and the track this evening in a couple of moments. But just quickly, before we get into the swing of things, once again a reminder to check out our social media channels, which you can see at the bottom of my screen just under me there. We of course have the Instagram, the Twitch, the X, the Discord, YouTube, the website, and we've TikTok channel as well, constantly uploading. So make sure you go check out them for some more AMX action. But before we take a look at this evening's qualifying session, we're going to run you through a few housekeeping rules. So of course, this is AMX Season 4, you're all well used to it by now. Started on January 27th and it's ending in a couple of weeks. I know, I'm just as sad as you are. We've got a fabulous prize pool though, of over $20,000 and some next level racing gear. It's the most races in a year, and we have a fabulous variety of car and track combos. This is of course the ACC Championship. This is around the first race on a Sunday for the AMX1 race. It's a bit of a different race format, but if you're a consistent viewer, you'll be well used to it by now. We don't do the two races like we do in the iRacing. We just do the one. It's a 20-minute qualifier and a 40-minute race with one mandatory pit stop. That mandatory pit stop causes a lot of problems, so it is a big element of this race. Then, of course, if you would like to join AMX, you absolutely can. You can sign up to race anytime at amxrace.com. Driver cams are required, of course. If you do that, you can join via the AMX Discord server or amxrace.com. Balances over $100 are paid out each month, and of course, we race on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. We'll run you through those times now, folks. It is, of course, at AMX1 at 5:50 p.m. GMT. That's on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. That's 7:50 p.m. if you are in mainland Europe. That's 6:50 if you're in Britain, or where I am in Ireland, of course. And it's about 6 or 7 hours minus if you're in the Americas. It is 7:20 p.m. then for AMX10. So we've got that coming up after we conclude our ACC action here this evening. And once again, folks, that's on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Fabulous prize pool as per usual in AMX. This is the AMX ACC prize pool. We don't award for qualifying because of course there's no reverse grid, so qualifying is very important for the race, meaning you don't need an added incentive. So it is $25 prize for first, $20 for second, and it is 15, 7, 6, 5, 4. Then you get into $3.50 free, $2.52, $1.25, $1.75, and then 50 cents. And a big thing as well is $4 for the fastest lap. So if you pick up a fastest lap, even if you're down the order, you'll get the same prize as you get if you finish 7th. So it's a fabulous incentive to keep going in the race. Maybe you can stick on a set of new tyres and go for a fastest lap. You pick yourself up a handy prize for it. Now, I think it's important to see who has picked up the prizes so far this season. This is your AMX1 top 12. It is Diogo Villarreal, who is top of the order with $147. He's raced 22 times, not quite won the one yet, but consistency is key for Diego. He's proved well in that. Facundo Rago then in second, Maurizio Lozano in third with Lois Wegner in fourth. Then it is Connor Healy in fifth ahead of Garado Ramos in sixth. Lautaro Gayoso in seventh with Simone Seminara in eighth position. Then it's the fabulous Lucas Vuela in ninth with Leo Mora in 10th. Nico Godoy in 11th, and then it's Santiago Barrios who rounds us out in 12th. And of course, this is our ACC Championship. You can see the standings on your right-hand side. It's quite close in the pack. You can see Simone Seminar up 4 spots since the last race, up to 2nd position. Lucas Werler in 3rd as well. Santiago Barrios in 4th, and Fabien Noger in 5th position. But I tell you what, folks, there's one man who has dominated this championship. You'll see him on the left-hand side of your screen now in a couple of moments, and that is Mr. Lois Regner. What a start to the season he has had. He's won 3 of the first 5 rounds here in the ACC Championship. He's on 127 points, and I tell you what, he's looking good to win out of the championship. But still a lot of work to do here this evening, heading up to Silverstone. And now, folks, we will have Silverstone. The track info, I'll hand you over to Connor to run you through this one. But I think you'll agree with me, Connor. Fabulous circuit.
Oh, it's an awesome race circuit, Evan. It's quite famous. I think if you don't know it, I think you've been living under a rock. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're at Silverstone. Formula One has been here for God knows how many years. I remember the days of Mick Schumacher, Senna, and it goes way down the list. And you know, now we race the brand new F1 cars, which Red Bull just dominate every race every weekend. But anyway, it is based in the England, country-wise, and then it was opened in 1948, very long time ago, and it's 5.8 Ks, so it's a very long race circuit. A lot of people would go, oh, it's probably like 4 Ks. No, it's a very long race circuit, a lot of corners, very tricky corners as well. You've got to get the car set up nicely. You can't really have, you know, the car set up in a certain way. You've got to have the car set up for a lot of corners. So, but anyway, we'll move on to the car actually. Talking about setups and everything. Here it is. Look at these glamorous shots that the team at AMX always get. We always love those shots there. So, GT3 class, like I said about Silverstone. If you don't know what a GT3 is, it is basically what every race car driver goes, okay, if I'm not getting into Formula 1 V8 supercars or something like, or you know, anything else, I'm going to go to GT3. It's in America, it's in Australia, it's in Europe. So, it has 500 horsepower to 600 horsepower. Rear wheel drive, 1,300 kilos is the max from most of these cars. I think the heaviest would be probably the Merc. It'd probably be the Merc, thinking off the top of my head. It is paddle shift, using the pedals on the back of the steering wheel, and it's technically classified as sequential, but at the end of the day, it's just buttons for a gearbox now. But there we go, there, track and car combo for AMX 1. Evan, I'll lead it back to you, mate, because we're going to go into qualifying.
We are going to go into qualifying. A fabulous track and a fabulous car that we all know and love. And really, if you're not a true AMX fan, if you're not used to GT3 cars at this point, but this is the Silverstone circuit, of course. It is on the site of OAF Silverstone, a former World War II Royal Air Force bomber station. An estimated about 150,000 spectators attended the first ever race here. That was in 1950. And it included the Queen of England at the time, Queen Elizabeth, of course. Now, in Britain, we get a lot of rain usually at the races. That trend is continuing. Looking like it is raining as we're on board with the SDL Esports Championship leader of Lois Regner. There is 12 minutes and 38 to go in qualifying, and it's tricky enough conditions, Connor.
Yeah, the conditions don't look great, but I'm sure these drivers are capable of driving. Talking about drivers, we're on Filippi's car at the moment. He's currently in P3. He's in driver cam in the bottom left, and you can see him there, concentrated as usual. I think every driver around here going around Silverstone, you've always got to have the concentration face, I call it, and that's definitely what he's got. So we're actually just going to come onto the back straight here. This is actually the start of the old race circuit back in the day, and I think we're actually going to be using this pit lane for this time by around Silverstone. Is this normally the ACC pit lane? I think it is normally, isn't it?
I know it's they kind of like to use a bit of both. I know the one of the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight is the Formula pit lane. For your single seaters, that's usually the F2 pit lane, but look, we're clearly using it here this evening. That would indicate to me that it's the old start-finish straight as well. So turn 1 will be the famous Cops Corner. So many ACC drivers today. Yes, there is. I told you we had a fabulous grid. I would not lie to you, fabulous folks tuning in at home. Let us know your thoughts on the race. Of course, we'll be reading out as many comments as we can throughout the course of the evening. And make sure to let us know how you're feeling. Let us know your thoughts on the drivers and the moves, because we're bound to have a fantastic evening here ahead of us. This is Leo Mora, you can see in your bottom right corner. He is currently in the Ferrari. Leo usually goes for the McLaren 720, but he's gone for the Ferrari here this evening, currently in 12th position. Leo, of course, from Brazil, is the owner of Omega Sim Race, which you can check out. You see the Omega Racing team on the bottom right corner. You can check out Omega Sim Race. It's just Leo himself. That's just the name he goes by. It's fabulous. I suppose you could say he's trying to do a bit of content creation. Uses some of his AMX races as well. So Leo doing some fabulous stuff there. But I tell you what, he's going to have to maybe get the pace on here this evening. Currently 4.2 seconds off the top time, which is a 1:57.6. It's a long lap in these GT3 cars. It's certainly a lot over. It's certainly a longer lap than you'd get in a single seater.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we saw Red Bull last year just dominate around here. How fast their cars were, especially the McLarens as well. Seeing like a Formula 1 car rip around here, then you go back to a GT3, people would go, oh wow, there's such a big difference when you really compare the two. And talking about cars, this is actually an awesome combo. We don't really see this in iRacing. This is the Aston Martin GT3, which I'm a huge fan of. When I was doing ACC back in the day, this was the car of choice for me. So just a little note there. Riding on board though, just under the start finish right now. He's going to start his lap. Lorenzo just starting the lap and wobbling through the corner. I've noticed a lot of these guys are starting to, oh, there's the wave. Hello, mate. And he must be watching the stream. Wave again if you can hear the stream. But yeah, he's still doing well here, just wrestling the Aston through there. It's actually raining at the moment massively. It's pouring at the moment. Yeah,
it's downpours. That wouldn't indicate to me that we're going to see much of an improvement in terms of the times. I don't think going through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel Curve is a good time to wave at us, but still nonetheless. This is our first real VR headset user we've seen in ACC. We've seen a few in iRacing. I know Tim State is always rocking a VR headset and absolutely styling out with it, is he? But this is Henrik Manzic. Not to be confused with Mario Mandzukic, the former Croatian footballer. Henrik currently in 6th position, as that's a cone actually that's gone flying in the background. I thought it was a bit of Henrik's car. As is Diego Villarreal currently asleep in his sim racing cockpit. It looks like that.
Diego. Just start knocking on the door, going, "Sir, can you wake up, please?"
Yeah, He's currently 6.7 seconds off the pace in 16th. I don't think he's going to really improve if we get the rain more, but he's opted for a quick nap. The thing is, he's clearly a quick sleeper, because qualifying, it's only 20 minutes here, meaning it's only been on for 12 minutes. He's gone out, set a lap, and he's gone for a quick 40 wicks. So Diego Villarreal opting for a quick nap. And the thing is, Diego lives in South America, so it's not even late for him like it is for Connor and for all our guys behind the scenes at AMX. As that was I tell you what, this is good fun this evening. We're very much enjoying this as we were being shadowboxed for a second as that is Soppen, currently in 10th position. He punched us and then gave us a kiss, so bit of a weird combination, but currently man in 10th.
I normally don't get that. We've got a bright screen there in the bottom right. Normally, I normally don't get punched and kissed, and it's normally one or the other. But getting a bit of a combo for tonight. Here we go, another driver on screen now.
The stream is probably doing fantastic numbers, considering all the drivers are watching it, unless we have a director or something telling them to do this, because they all seem to be keeping a close eye on who we are on board with. Excuse me for butchering this gentleman's surname, but this is Keoaski. If I've got that wrong, please do tell me in the stream chat.
I feel like
correct that.
I feel like you've kind of got that name, to be honest. I feel like you've kind of nailed it.
There's a couple of difficult ones this evening.
Yeah, for sure.
This one though. This is Nico Godoy.
Godoy
exactly
always being a driver. Godoy always being a bit of a fan of the NASCAR in iRacing, unless there's two Nico Godoys getting around, which probably is actually. No, I'm thinking of something else. Never mind. No, I'm thinking of.
There is sometimes because he often joins the server twice. I think we had two Nico Godoys in Bathurst because he often joins the server twice. But no, there is only one physical Nico Godoy. Him and Roman Pascucci both love the NASCARs. Oh, there's Miro Regibui, the Belgian driver, in the 7.21. He's had a bit of a spin round there. Miro currently 14th in qualifying, 5.4 off the top of the order. Here's Henrique again. One of 3 Ferraris here for this evening, and I tell you what, that's a lovely bright purple and yellow. I don't think he's going to be giving us a wave or two, because he does have probably the racetrack about 2 centimetres from his eyes.
I was going to say, sorry to interrupt you there. Is it just me, or does it annoy you when someone's racing with a really expensive steering wheel? Because I know how much that steering wheel costs. When they don't wear gloves, I want to... Yeah. I appreciate the steering wheel. I've got that steering wheel, by the way. It's a V8 Supercar steering wheel. It's a P310 Sparko steering wheel. I'm not a fan of the zero gloves. I want to get your opinions in chat, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start a topic there, but wanting on board with here, and I'm not even going to mention that name. You can go with that one, Evan. But he's got the flight gear going on at the moment, and look at that watch, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my god, look at that!
Whoa,
thing. Sparkle!
That is blinging out, and that's also conveniently being placed on his left wrist for this broadcast, I imagine. But yeah, it's very much blinging out his Keoaski, K-U-I-ASCII. I did do research on most of these drivers, I promise, folks, but a lot of newcomers here this evening in the ACC Championship, which I tell you, we absolutely love. It's great to see some new guys here racing in the Championship, and they've really been thrown into the deep end. As you can just see, a wobble on the X of Cop's corner. Currently rocking the McLaren t-shirt and in the McLaren car. So McLaren did quite well in the Formula 1 race in real life, and McLaren typically run well in GT3 races around Silverstone. But I tell you what, that was a bit of a wobble. We currently only have 4 cars out on the racing surface, so I can't really see that whole time being beaten. I think Lomi has this one summed up.
Hello in the chat, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I just saw one of your messages. But I was going to say, he's got the McLaren t-shirt and he's got a McLaren watch on. That's normally the watch they wear. No, that could be actually the Red Bull watch. I think, because McLaren have their own... I know the McLaren drivers get free watches, but I'm either mixing it with the Red Bull drivers or the McLaren drivers, because that watch, it looks very similar to both of those. But it's a very nice watch. So maybe we should start something in AMX. You know, you wear your fancy watch when you race. But let's have a fashion parade.
Whatever the answer is, he has a load of money.
I've got a decent watch, but definitely nowhere near that. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't race for McLaren, so I certainly don't get given one. But 2 minutes and 45 to go in qualifying here for AMXs. Wow, we have a combination. Diego's still asleep, folks. He's still asleep. He's not woken up yet. As I love how we have 2 guys who are wearing something on their face. One is a driver to literally get as realistic as possible. The other one is asleep. I can't get over that. I can't get over the fact he is asleep. As we're getting a thumbs up again from one of the drivers on the right-hand side. Look, can I just say, they're all having a great time, which is a great indication of how great AMX is. They're all having a fabulous time here in qualifying. And I tell you what, it's all laughing and smiles now. Once we get into racing conditions, it's flat out. It's full concentration.
Yeah, for sure. Like, we don't have a weather radar, but if this rain keeps up and this is the start of the race, this should be very interesting. Obviously we got the pit stops, mandatory pit stops. So I wonder if we if these drivers need to go to the dry compound. That could be a possibility in this race.
Yeah, we currently only have 2 drivers out, just getting the final preparations in. This is Alejandro and this is Nico Godoy in 15th position. That's the problem when it rains at ports sometimes in the United Kingdom, and you can't really improve on your lap time. But I tell you what, this could be one of the closest poles of the season, and we didn't even really get to see it. It's Lomi who is quickest by 0.008 over Magnani, and that is mighty close in what is a 5.8 kilometre Silverstone circuit in a GT3 car. That is exceptionally close. It is a wide field spread across the grid though, but that's just due to timing, due to weather, due to a bit of everything. So don't let that deter you. This will still be a close race.
If I had a wild guess, from P5 down to P10, I think that's probably when the rain started in P5, and I reckon when you get down to P10, that's when the rain really hit. Because I'm just looking at the times, and they look very, That's when I'm thinking.
Lois Reginaire is not 1.5 seconds off the pace. I can tell you that for free. Lois Reginaire is not that off the pace. He's the championship leader for a reason, is Lois. An absolute exceptional driver is Lois Reginaire from Monterey, France. And he's a driver for the fabulous SDL Esports team, who their CEO, Kevin Lejeune, sometimes pops into these races and gives a go. Oh, that's a bit wide as the clock strikes 0. This will be the last couple of laps, but we're not going to account for anything. So we're going to wrap up the results and we'll head into the main race.
Awesome shots here as usual from the AMX boys as well. But rain is always a thing at Silverstone, or in the UK in general, it seems like at this point. But let's talk about it, right? We just got rain in iRacing, so it's kind of weird for me to see rain just all the time in ACC. But it's good to see there's rain across both platforms now.
It is great to see as we look at our fabulous drivers one last time. Diogo is still asleep. Someone ring his Discord. He is still snoozing as we see them all getting ready to rumble here this evening. The one on the top left could probably do with turning on a lamp or something for a bit of light. We can't really see who that is, but there is the Silverstone circuit. Of course, it's 5.891 kilometres, 18 turns. Lap record, quite ironically, is held by Max Verstappen in 2020. He set that lap. Longest straight is the Hangar Straight, about 770 metres. Remember, we'll be starting on the Old Start Finish Straight, but as you can see, your session winner, it is Lomi, who is top of the order. A fabulous qualifying by him. Then in second position, we do have Magnani. Then it is Felipe Seminara, Lois Reginaire, championship leader, down in 5th. It's an all McLaren top 5. Then it is Manziuc, Lozano, Nadales, and it is Guerrero Sopanen. Then it is Santiago Barrios, Leon Mora. Then it is Kei Ayaski. Then it is Miro Regibui. Then it is Nico Godoy, Diogo Villarreal, and Joan Barriero. And look, bit of a weird qualifying, but I think we're in for a very good race, Connor.
Yeah, for sure. And we were talking about that Vantage before, the Aston Martin. It's actually in P2, so I'm happy that my favourite car's in P2 as well. The McLaren looks like it's pretty strong. I was going to say, we saw James Baldwin in that McLaren a couple of years ago, so maybe it clicked onto the sim racing drivers to go, maybe let's go to the McLaren. Maybe that could be a possibility in the sim racing world. But that's going to wrap up qualifying, and we're going to move on to the race, which is 45 minutes. So strap in, ladies and gentlemen, get a cuppa, get a coffee, get a Monster Energy, get anything, and sit down and then listen to us to babble on for 45 minutes, which I think that's why everyone's watching this race, right?
Absolutely, and hopefully Diogo wakes up at some point. That'd be cool too. But you can see fabulous Silverstone circuit. That's the Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel section. You're currently looking at it. Usually turn 10, 11, 12, 13 and then 14, but of course I think we're starting on the Old Start Finish Straight. As we can see now, we will have a a rolling start, I believe. I'm not sure if we'll do a full formation lap or not, but we are getting ready to go. It is Lomi who's on pole position, then it is Magnani in second, Filippi in third, then it is Simone Seminara in fourth, with Lois Regner in fifth position. Then Manzic starts sixth, Maurizio Lozano starting in seventh, and it is a wet track here in Silverstone. It is a wet circuit. So these drivers have a big challenge on their hands here today. This is where I believe the start-finish line is, but I'm not sure if we are going straight away. We'll see the green flags fly if we are, right, whether we're doing a full formation lap or not. And no, we're going now, so we go racing here in Silverstone. It is a very quick start, and Magnani already trying to make a move on Lomi, but didn't quite work out. He's succumbed almost to Filippi in the background, but Marco Lomi has got away well at the front of the grid. This is Sopanen in the 10th position. This is the Finnish driver in the 159. You can see a big move from Guerriero there. Oh, he's gone very wide in towards the first corner, and that is going to cause him some trouble potentially. He's lost 2 spaces here in the opening moments at Silverstone.
Lumi with a really good start, just going onto the back straight now, absolutely pouring down to the main straight, and they're going to have to find some grip down here, fast right into this corner here, hard on the brakes, and they're going to use all that stopping power. And look at that, Aston Martin getting right on the back of Lumi there, and we just saw that. Could be a passing opportunity there. I think Lumi had to find some speed on the exit there. A bit of a wobble there. Here comes the Aston Martin though, around the outside. Lumi's going to have to try and find some grip on the outside, which it might actually do because he's off the racing line. Lumi trying to find some grip, obviously with the rain. Oh, with the Aston Martin going wide, entering the track again. Lumi falling behind down into turn 1 normally, but we are using the old circuit layout for the start grid. But the Aston Martin takes the lead.
Lorenzo Magnani is into the lead of the race here. The Italian driver, as you can see, making a great move in towards the Vale chicane and club section of circuit, and he got the job done. It is the job of Lomi to try retake that position in a matter of moments. But it's the Aston Martin leading the field. Then a little bit further down, it is Lomi, Filippi, Seminara and Lois Regner, the championship leader, already getting up to pace in these slightly damp conditions. I wouldn't say it's raining too heavily, but it certainly is raining a little bit. This is Juan Guerrero in 8th position for the Sky Tempesta Racing team, the number 93 there, of course. As we jump back up to the front, it is the black Aston Martin, the 203. That will lead us over the line for the first lap here. 37 minutes to go, folks. Remember, 1 mandatory pit stop these guys must serve. And remember, it is that on the timing tower on your left hand side, I should say, the little 1, once that goes green, that means the driver has served their mandatory pit stop. And you can see a little bit of shuffling. This is Maurizio Lozano, the Mexican driver for Goats Esports, immediately into the pit lane. He's not hanging about.
Yeah, he wants to get out of the chaos as quickly as possible, but we're running on board with the 203, the Aston Martin with Lorenzo. Sorry for the butcher of the name, that's my Australian accent, absolutely butchering everything, but down the main straight again. But getting a great little lead already, 1.1 seconds already pulling here, so that Aston Martin looks very strong in the rain, obviously. All English cars out front, by the way. I just want to mention that. Top 5. You did say that the McLarens were a top 5, but I think the better way is the all English cars out in all the top 5. So all the English people out there. Curb!
Oh, that's a massive
Filippi after getting on the anchors. Filippi trying to go around the outside. He's going to try and do this. Around the outside. Lumi's got the move done, and he's going to stay there. Filippi trying to do it again. Does he try and go up the inside? Oh, he's going to try the outside. Here comes contact. Oh, a little bit of contact there. We're okay, though. Lumi getting a little bit of a lead there. He's got some breathing room. Here comes Filippi, though, up the inside. He's going to try and keep that grip, get off that racing line as quickly as possible. And here comes Filippi down the straight. Bit of a on the outside. Does he? And Filippi's got it too wide in the background though. Reginer just trying to get around the outside there, not finding the grip, and the 201 keeping the spot there, and Simon getting the staying in P4. Wow.
Yes, fabulous battling between Simone Seminara and Lois Regner, two drivers who are up near the top there, 1 and 2 in the championship, of course. Simone has any championship ambitions and rankings. He's got to probably get ahead of I should say, but Marco Lomi, that was a scary moment for him. He was almost a goner heading through the club section. It's very difficult to get the traction down in that corner, and that was very evident for the second place man in the 202. We're on board now with Felipe heading down towards the right-hander. He's using the slipstream to his effect, but he will get a bit of spray chucked up at him, so he's definitely got to be careful of that. 35 minutes to go on the first race of this evening. Remember, you can join us at 7:20 GMT. That'll be coming up this evening, folks, so you're going to want to stick around for that. That's in the GTEs around the Daytona Roval, so you do not want to miss that. But 0.5 of a second separating second and third here. That's about the closest battle in the field. There was two pillars already, Maurizio Lozano and Miro Reggio, so that's the Italian and the Belgian who have come into the pit lane in the Ferrari and the McLaren respectively. They got in and out without any penalties. Penalties can be a big factor here. We've seen Fabien Nogier lose a race win at Imola because he got a drive through with a late pit stop. But the drivers here, they seem to either pit early or pit late. We've seen 2 pit early, so I imagine the rest of them will try extend it until the end of the race.
I think everyone's going to stay out on the track as long as possible, just to see if the rain stops and the track starts to dry up. I think these drivers will... I think that's what they'll do at this point in time, and burn all that fuel off as well, so the cars will get faster later on in the stint as well. But at the moment, having as much fuel as possible, you're going to get more grip out of the car. Obviously, you don't want to be on that racing line just to make effect as much as possible, because obviously if you're on the racing line, as we can see here, just sliding the whole way through from the start of the corner to the end of the corner, and you can see that we're riding on board with P4 at the moment. And you can just see the car just getting wrestled at 24/7. You're not really stable through the rain. Through the rain, you're almost dancing in the car. You get a little bit of understeer, so you're going to put a little bit more throttle into the car. Then the car will pitch a little bit too much, so you're going to use those brakes and just balance the car off the brakes. So yeah, the rain is something different, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like the drive when you can drive around and go, oh, I'm on the line, I'm getting around, I'm okay. But you put a bit of rain into it, and it's a whole different ball game. So all these guys could be completely different in the drive, but in the rain, this is our standings at the moment. And all these drivers are being very sensible at the moment.
Yes, you can see Simone Seminara laser focused in the 201, trying to just find an avenue of attack on Felipe, but nowhere really being found for now. He's just had to settle and sit behind for the time being. A little bit further down the field, Leo Mora currently in 10th. He's about 0.3 of a second behind Santiago Barrios, so that could be a battle developing between the McLaren and the Ferrari, but a lovely overhead shot, I should say, of the first, second and third cars, as I believe Magnani currently has the fastest lap of the race, so that'll be an extra $4 for him. You can take that home, but as Connor said, cars will get quicker, the drivers will get more confident. Can't imagine that's going to finish as the fastest lap of the race, but you can just see Felipe slowly closing in on Lomi for second place, and I would expect an overtake to arrive pretty soon. You can see picture-in-picture battle for 9th. This is Barrios versus Mora.
Yeah, Barrios just on the back here in the Ferrari, the 296, the new Ferrari that's just been added to the whole GT field. Recently, they were quite competitive in real life at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. They actually won. So the Ferrari being very strong at the moment in iRacing and ATC, and riding on the back at the moment. But the Aston Martin, though, 5 seconds out in front. So the Aston Martin, the choice of the car at the moment. But yeah, awesome battle for the top 4 in the moment for P2. And we're just riding on board with Felipe there, just battling the car. And you could just see these guys, the moment they touch these curves, they're just wobbling the whole way through. And that's not a driver thing, that's just how the car's reacting at the moment. So they're just controlling how the car's feeling at the moment. But yeah, Felipe right on the back of Le Mans at the moment. And yeah, really just trying to stay with him at the moment with all that slipstream. But look at the spray that he's getting in, all that dirty air. So watch through the corner. So Felipe's trying to go under, but he's on the wet line and he's going to have no grip on the exit. And you can just see there, you do not want to be on the racing line at all, because the moment you're on that racing line, you've got no grip. And Felipe trying to get some gains on the brake pedal, and he gets a little bit, but look at the exit. I was just talking about the exit. I think this is what these guys will need to focus on at the moment, is exits. But how's this? This is AMX 1, this is not even AMX 10, and we've got this type of racing.
Yes, this is a fabulous turnout. This is a fabulous race so far for AMX 1. 17 drivers on ACC. We started with just about 10 in Spa-Francorchamps. The ACC tier has developed since the start of the season. Remember, this is literally the first season we've done on ACC here on AMX. It's been an absolute fantastic success, and that's a credit to those behind the scenes. But credit to the drivers out on the circuit, because it's only in conditions like this you realise how talented these guys are. We've not had one car go off and hit the wall yet so far in the 10 minutes and 10 seconds that we've been racing, so that is a fabulous credit to all these guys. We've only done 4 laps, mind you, which goes to show how long it really is here, but this is the first opportunity. This is Felipe trying it around the outside. Simon Seminara is trying up the inside of his car as well. He sensed the opportunity there, and now taking the inside line through the flat right-hander of Woodcut and in towards Copse Corner. Seminara would have to be a brave racing driver to dive it down the inside in his McLaren in towards Copse Corner. He just sits behind for the time being. Doesn't really get the best of exit in towards Mackett's, Beckett's and Chapel, but that's okay for now. There's still a long time left in this race. Felipe is now going to be the man who will try and attack Lomi for second position. All just kind of punching up here. It seems like Seminara might be struggling a little bit in the spray, because you saw there the minute he kind of was backed off Felipe, he was straight back on him again. He's very quick once he gets to clean air, as Simone just struggling a little bit getting past the third place driver.
Yeah, Simon really just, we were talking about it before, it's all about the exits in the rain. It's not really the entry. We see a lot of dry racing, it's a lot of entry and mid-corner, but in the wet, it's all about the exit. I was doing a 6-hour race the other day in iRacing, and I noticed in the wet, you just need to focus on your exits. It's not entries or mid. Obviously, in the dry, that's always what your focus is mid-corner, but in the wet, it's about exits, and this is what all these top drivers are doing at the moment. And look at the lead that Aston Martin has got at the moment. What a great lead he's got at the moment, 5.6 seconds. I think he's got this race if he can just keep it consistent at the moment. Oh, huge dive there.
Speaking of keeping it consistent, we have our first penalty for the pit lane. It's Nico Godoy who has picked up a stop-go, 30 seconds. He'll have to head back down the Silverstone pit lane to serve that one again. That's a killer for Nico Godoy. He is now out of this race, unfortunately, but might be able to get back in it and get some sort of prize, considering there might be more drivers to get penalties. And just as I'm saying, Vad Kuyaski has picked up a drive-through, so that's a different penalty. He won't have to stop and go for 30 seconds. He'll just have to drive through the pit lane, as that is very disappointing for those two guys. And you can see Joan Guerrero getting past Juan Barrero. Those names scarily similar, may I add, but this is Kuyaski in 12th position. Mr. Rolex, unfortunately, picking up a drive-through, but not a stop-go, so we won't have to put that watch to use just yet.
On board with our leader at the moment, Lorenzo, just doing his thing, really. Look at that wing on the back of this Aston Martin, by the way. I just want to mention that. The thing is the size of a bus on the back of that thing, so I'd say he's got a lot of wing on that car at the moment, and just using all that downforce at the moment. And by the way, good sir, I want to note your seat cover. I love it. I want to actually have my seat cover like that, but no, mine is an uncomfortable race seat. Felipe around the outside trying to do something about this and try and get Limoni here, and he tries to get into P2 at the moment. Nothing really would be gained at the moment for getting a P2, because look at the drivers behind. He's got Simon behind him really trying to put that pressure on. So the moment these guys start battling, Marco just really wrestling the car. Felipe on the exit though, really using that exit. Look at that, he's having a huge smile on his face at the moment. Felipe in the top of your screen at the moment, Marco at the bottom. And look at the wheel work at the moment, just really wrestling the car. Marco trying to get the exit. We can see here just Felipe really just trying to get the entry, and Marco's really focusing on that exit. And watch Marco just gap these guys. Simon trying to go for it. Felipe having contact with Simon there. Simon trying to get the exit. Simon's still there. Felipe on the outside. Look at this other driver in the background. Oh, this could be it. Luis trying to make the move on Simon. Felipe now. Simon off the road. Luis.
Oh no, that is a car gone straight on. It's Simone Seminara, a man who needed a huge result this evening if he wanted championship ambitions. He's gone skating off into the exit at Brooklands, and now there's a car in the pit lane. That is going to be Lois Regner, who's into the pit lane straight away, and he might have got a penalty for speeding there as well. It is 1 and 2 in the championship, both into the pit lane after a dramatic incident that is controversial between Lois Regner and Simone Seminara. We didn't really see what happened. We kind of just saw Seminara as a sort of out of control automobile going across the circuit. Luckily he didn't collect anyone, but that's a big moment in this race.
Just see Simon just absolutely flying across that grass, and obviously the grass would have no grip at the moment. Just it's basically a swimming pool out there, grass at the moment. So yeah, that's I mean, unfortunately that's what's happened, but at the same time Felipe would be very happy at the moment. Obviously not getting that move done, but he's yeah, got some breathing room at the moment. And am I reading that correctly? Lorenzo has got almost 9 seconds from P1 from almost to P2. That is incredible. And here's the
replay. Seminara. Let's see what happened. In towards, this is of course Brooklands. Oh, it was the nudge. The nudge from Lois Regner that sent him across, and Simone Seminara just went literally sliding. There was nothing he could do. You're never going to stop your car on that grass. Simone Seminara, the driver for Gladius Competition, he is the 2024 ACI Esports Italian Cup champion. He picked up that accolade a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to pick up any accolades here this evening, but still in the race. He's in 10th spot. He recovered the car. He might be okay to go to the end here. Lois Regner will have to take a trip back to the pit lane. As we can see, that is it's a bit of lap traffic actually. It's just fallen down. Yeah, I think that could be Miro Rejabui. Don't quote me on that, but I think it could be Miro is just being lapped there, as that is Felipe has gone past. So that's Lomi and Felipe. They'll carry on battling. It was a 4-car battle. It's now a 2.
Yeah, at the moment, and P1's absolutely just gone at the moment. We were talking about them all battling, and that P1 would just keep gapping, and we can just see that effect. Almost 9 seconds now, ladies and gentlemen. So these drivers now, it's a battle for P2 at the moment, with Marco just really trying to focus on these exits like we mentioned, and Felipe trying to do the entry. So does Felipe change his driving style for these exits now? But Marco doing a really good job in keeping control of his car. And it looks like Fanatec's the choice of wheels for tonight, by the way. Just want to mention.
It is. I have a Fanatec myself, so I'm very much proud of them too. Unfortunately, it's not as fancy as theirs is, as you can see. Oh, very close through that corner. Nicky Lauda once said, no, he didn't say it to me personally, but he once said, slow in, fast out. I think that's what Marco Lomi needs to go for here as he heads in towards the Vale chicane. Let's see who gets the better exit through Club. Lomi was almost a passenger in towards the wall through this corner in probably only the second lap of the race. He had a huge moment through here, but no, he hasn't slid there. As Felipe, just as the camera goes off, he's actually not sitting back in his chair. He's leaning forward, and it's sort of a carving technique where you try to get the human DRS. But I tell you what, Marco Lomi looks a lot more comfortable in a more natural seating position. But whatever way it works for these guys, and they are driving quickly. 720 car of Felipe, though. I tell you what, he's looking quick. He's looking like he's going to get past Lomi.
Yeah, it looks like Felipe just does not want to sit in P3 at the moment. Marco, though, I feel like Marco wouldn't even be really bothered by if he went into P3. Talking about Marco just missing that apex by an absolute bus. You could put a bus on that apex and he still would have not hit that apex there, just off it by a couple of meters there. But Marco there just getting another great accident.
Yellow flags.
Is that a safety car, or is that just a local yellow?
Yeah, I think it could be just a local yellow. They are kind of on and off. It might just be someone letting the lap traffic through. Could be Leo Moores. I think he's just gone into the pit lane, and Nico Godoy 2 laps down as well, or at least that's what the timing tower is telling us. Oh, Felipe, so much quicker than Lomi through that section of track. And I tell you what, this is the real battle of the day. These two, they're pushing each other in these wet conditions at Silverstone like no one's ever really been pushed before. There's been some fabulous races around Silverstone in these conditions. Lewis Hamilton with an absolute masterclass in his second ever home Grand Prix. Jackie Stewart lapped every car in 1969 in the Formula 1 race here as well in very similar conditions. But stick Lomi versus Felipe in the books. Stick Lorenzo Magnani as well in the books, because I tell you what, he's dominating just as Hamilton and Stewart did on their day. But still Lomi ahead of Felipe, and the unfortunate thing for Lomi is he's got to do everything he's done and do it again. We're now at the halfway point through this race.
Yeah, he's going to have to. I mean, Felipe at this point, I think Felipe just focusing really on the entry and Marco focusing on the exit. Marco with the cover, Felipe around the outside, Marco covering that entry, and Felipe's going to have to try and go around the outside, so Marco does mind. I thought Marco would actually slot into P3 if Felipe went for a dive, but Marco does not want to give this up. We still have 20 minutes to go, and these guys haven't taken their pit stops yet. So my thought process at the moment, does Felipe go for an early pit stop, get some clean air, and go for those fast laps, then undercut Marco? That's really the question. I would be questioning that, because really Felipe can't get around him at the moment. We know that, you know, he's went for a couple of dives and Marco's just parked it. He has not given him any room, and that's racing. He's done a great job, and Marco, you know, has got all the rights to do that. So does Felipe change it up?
I really like hearing you say that, because of course you're a racing driver, so that's probably what you'd be thinking if you're in this situation, in this race. And I really do like hearing that, because I can imagine that's what Felipe is thinking as well. He's like, right, look, I haven't been able to get past. I've got to start thinking outside the box, outside the racing circuit, and into the pit lane. Maybe I can do some from a strategical perspective. But I know these guys sometimes don't swap tyres, and I can't really see this rain lightening up, so there mightn't be necessarily a tyre swap, but the undercut still exists. You're still got to go into the pit lane and back out pretty much. But you can see there's another car coming out of the pit lane.
The only thing I can think of is if it does clear up, they've got to go on for drives. So I'm probably thinking at the moment, if I was in Felipe's shoes, I could be going, okay, this is the situation. I could go for the undercut, but if this clears up, I'm kind of screwed. So he needs to think back and forth in his mind, going, right, I need to think outside of my McLaren, because I didn't want to say box, a bit of a punt there, but I think that's kind of the thought process at the moment. But you can see here in the battle for P9, huge slide there on the exit, and the Sky Sports entry is just going to fly straight past him and get that move done. Great move. But you can see where the puddles are. See on the outside there, just massive puddles. So it looks like there is a bit of a dry line starting to be created. So yes, it's raining, but there's so many cars on track. I wonder if these guys could risk it and go for a dry tyre if it does clear up a little bit. That's my question, because if it just stops raining and there's already a bit of a dry line already being created from these wet tyres, because obviously with a wet tyre and a slick tyre gets grip, right? You know, there's no tread on the tyre, and everyone kind of knows that. But with a wet tyre, it has grooves, so those grooves actually try and get you know, water out of that tyre. That's what the grooves do, and try and push them out. So that's what a wet tyre does. So that's why you see a bit of a dry line. But if you get out of that dry line, as we all know, you just start sliding, cars starts to be an absolute pain. So yeah, that's my kind of question at the moment, because lot of questions, but not a lot of answers at the moment, I think, is the main thing at the moment.
Yes, we're looking at one Gladius Esports competition driver, that is Lomi, and another one, Simon Seminara, has successfully got past Lois Regner. Well, he did, and then Lois came in to serve his drive-through penalty. In the stream chat, Evandro Dantas saying, go Manziuk. wonder is Evander any relation to the AMX 10 driver Felipe Dantas? Maybe, potentially. But we're looking at the Argentine in 10th position. This is Joan Barriero. He currently has Lois Regner right behind. And I tell you what, Lois, he's still racing on here. He still wants to pick up points and potentially get even closer to being the inaugural ACC champion here in AMX. He's looking for the inside potentially on Joan. I think he's going to just let him through here as... no, actually, he's parking on the apex. They're going to try and get the exit. This is Barriero on the inside, Regner on the outside, down towards Woodcut and Cops Corner. Lois Regner. Oh, there's contact between the two! Both cars off the circuit, heading in towards Woodcut. It's the second incident involving Lois Regner. It's the first involving Lois Regner and Joan Barriero. And I tell you what, neither will be happy. We might have to have a replay on that one to see what happened, but it was just contact on the straight that sent them off, Connor.
Yeah, it looks like it, and that might be our first full-screen BenQ replay, but that was massive. Up the outside, Felipe's going to try and do a move, one after the other. Marco on the inside. We saw the exit from Lois before. Oh, Felipe was sideways coming out of the corner, just trying to find every bit of grip at the moment here. And we were just talking about the lines and seeing that dry line started to be created, and we said there's only one line out there, and it's just been shown. You get out there and you just start sliding in those huge puddles. I love when I'm right.
Everyone loves when they're right. But no, mate, still ahead of Felipe. I tell you what, Felipe will be going to sleep at some point this evening, and you'll have Lomi's rear wing as well. That's Santiago Barrios running on the grass in towards turn number 3, the first field braking zone on the Grand Prix circuit. This is Barrios trying to get past Guerrero in front of him, the 76 against the 93, both in the McLaren 720S. And you can just see the concentration of the Rebellion Autosports driver of Santiago Barrios heading down towards the left-hander, the Argentine driver. Of course, actually an esports team owner is Santiago, so he's well versed in the managerial aspects of racing. He's well versed in the overtaking in racing as well. Unfortunately, could not get it done that time. He's got to be careful because he has Sopanen right behind him as well. This is a free car fight.
Yeah, for sure. And talking about fights, we're back up to the front with Marco and Felipe. And what a battle this has been. But I really think Felipe needs to go for an undercut at the moment. Ken, is it still raining actually? I'm just noticing. I think it is. I think there is still rain coming down.
There's definitely, it's still a wet.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think, because if it stops raining and they just need to deal with the dry line, that's, there's a lot of options that get on the table at that point. But we were talking about the tyres trying to get the water out of under the car. And here's actually a bit of an incident. And this is actually with Lois and this was with Lois and the Porsche car, which was...
It was Barriero.
I'm not even...
This
Barriero.
This was the one down to... This was the big incident on the straight. I think we're just a little bit early on it in the replay, but we'll keep an eye on the picture-in-picture. It was a real controversial one. Lois is a man who, when he's at the front, he can run trouble-free, but it seems like in the damp conditions of Silverstone, he has been involved in a few incidents. But in that picture-in-picture, it's when they come around the right-hander at Luffield is when the incident took place. And you can see Lois Regner, he dived it down the inside. This is the corner where he had the incident with Simone Seminara. Was into the left-hander, then he got the outside for the right-hander, and this is where I thought he was going to just be let through, but he wasn't. Barriero did defend it. It seemed like Lois got the better exit. He came just onto the curb here, and you can see, and did he spin off the curb? He cut over too early. He thought he was more ahead than Barriero, and unfortunately I think that one's pinned on Lois.
I think it's actually the Porsche that's moved over a little bit, to be honest. Looking at that, the Porsche should be all the way to the right at that point, so I'm kind of thinking it could be the Porsche, not Lois, to be honest, in that situation. From my opinion, I mean, I could be wrong. We can't sit there like iRacing and go chase cam and sit there for 2 hours and dissect every human thought about it, but that's kind of what we've got at the moment. Leave your opinions actually in the chat, and we'll read it through, and then we can
please
figure out who's right and wrong. And
our first retirement of the day, Leo Mora, actually has just popped into the stream chat. He said, I'm running on fumes, totally slipped my mind to switch the setup, classic me. Oh, it's unlucky there for Leo. He was running well, but unfortunately, yeah, just a bit of a setup issue there for him, as that's actually finally Felipe into the pit lane. That's a dummy into the pit lane.
This
he is trying
50 Ks.
He's got it. It was close. We'll see anyways as he comes out in the pit lane, but he is trying the corner tactic. He's going for the undercut.
Let's see if I'm right or wrong here, ladies and gentlemen. I could be wrong, but Felipe in the pit stop. Let's see how quick this pit stop is. It only needs to be a mandatory pit stop, so you can sit there for 1 second and go. I'd take 1 litre and just get out of there as quickly as possible. So he stopped. Gone. There you go. Felipe out of the pits, 50 Ks, and he will unrelease the big McLaren out of the pits. 500 horsepower is going to hit that right foot, and see you later, out of the pits. Meanwhile, we're going to go back to this battle in the battle for actually I think that's P7 or P8. So we'll be watching that unfold.
And this is Santiago Barrios and Lois Regnier. So this is a section of track that's not treated Lois too kind here this evening. Santiago is hoping that it treats him a little bit better, and quite crucially, no penalty for Felipe. So he is all good, and he is out of the pits clean, and if the other 3 get penalties, he's in a race-winning position. So he's got to just play his cards right from now until the end. McNanny still probably in the best position for the race win, Lomi in the best position for second, but we'll see how it all plays out. You can just see how these guys, maybe a few mistakes starting to sneak into the driving, but it's still very difficult conditions out there to race a car.
Yeah, I think there's more puddles on this circuit now. I think, obviously, we've been racing for 45 minutes and we've got 8 minutes to go, so the puddles would be getting bigger and bigger, and it doesn't get any easier for these drivers. I know in the iRacing service, when it just starts to rain, goes for over 25 minutes, it starts to get really hard, and you're really starting to wobble after a good couple of minutes. And a bit of a change. We're actually going to watch a Ferrari go around. This is actually a VR driver, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember in VR on ATC, it's quite a graphics chewer, if I'm correct.
I have never worn a VR headset. I cannot confirm or deny that statement. But Henrik, he's had a good race, mind you. Lead Ferrari for the entirety of it. And he's been doing very well. He's not made his pit stop yet. This man, Marco Lomi, is in to make his pit stop. It's in, it's stop, and it'll be back out as quick as he came in. He is battling with Felipe, as you can see. Oh, absolutely excellent from the directors once again to get us a look at this one. Then here he goes in towards Cop's corner. It will be Lomi on the inside, Felipe on the outside, and you can see they're heading through here. This is going to be Felipe. Felipe, he's done it. He has undercut Lomi into the pit lane. Felipe is up to second place here in AMX ACC around Silverstone. Felipe is going to be absolutely delighted, but now it's Marco Lomi's turn to try and attack, and will it be an instant attack down the longest straight here at Silverstone? It's the Hangar Straight, 770 metres. It doesn't look like Lomi's close enough now. Felipe, he's delighted with that one. Excellent job. He's pulled off the undercut.
Can I just say something, Evan? I want to be signed by a big team so I can do strategy like that. I just want to point that out, by the way.
Who had a howler in Formula 1 today? McLaren had an absolute disaster class, so you might be able to take that role. I would say Ferrari, but they're actually decent.
You know what? I haven't actually watched a Formula 1 race yet, so thank you. But anyway, yeah, I haven't watched a Formula 1 race. All in that car. Yeah.
You might get a watch. You might get a watch if you sign for McLaren.
Yeah. Look, I'd take a watch. How good's that watch, by the way? I'm kind of jealous. But anyway, Marco behind Felipe now, after us just driving along about watching them strategies, and he's under the one of the coolest straights, in my opinion. Actually, I like this straight where you can get a bit of a breathing, you can have a bit of a breather, because really straight you really don't get time to get your breath. And talking about getting your breath, battle for P6. This battle has been going on for God knows how long. Same as Felipe and Marco. It has just been going on forever, and we love it. We love it at AMX when we've got two battles on track, and the producers in the background just get us to get these two replays on the same screen, and we can just babble on about it. It's great.
It is. It's great to see so many battles in the ACC Championship as well. It really is fantastic. This is a great turnout. This is really good. Lomi, drive-through penalty for the 202 McLaren. It's just come into us on the screen. Marco Lomi for Gladius Competitions will not be finishing on the podium today. He will not be finishing in second position. He will have to pull into the pit lane here in Silverstone for a second time to serve that drive-through penalty. How disheartening is that after the effort he's put in here this evening?
Is that the FIA giving him a penalty? Or is it, that wouldn't be from the pits. That's from contact.
No, that's not from the pits.
It's got to be.
Yeah, that is disappointing. We'll try to get confirmation on that to see what the penalty was for. Could be off tracks as well, actually.
4 minutes to go, and he's got a drive through. That is so disheartening. But Marco, unfortunately, it's not his day, but it is Felipe and Lorenzo out in front. Who's we haven't even checked on for who knows how long, but lap 16, and he's got a lead of 28 seconds at the moment from the Ferrari. So he hasn't done a pit stop yet, but I'd say there we go. It's just come up with the P1 is pitting Lorenzo in the box, and that's not going to change a thing. So he's actually the Ferrari, and I think this will be the pit stop. So here's Lorenzo.
Yes, the Aston Martin.
There we go.
Into the box, and he will come back out again. He's just got to be careful that he didn't speed. If he didn't speed, he's won this race, and I think that will be an uncontested opinion as he's heading out of the pit lane now. We will get confirmation just as he exits the pit lane whether he got a 30-second stop-go penalty or not. Diogo Villarreal's just been handed the drive-through on another note, and Lomi comes in to serve his, and Lorenzo Magnani is A-OK here. Henrik Manzic still has to come into the pit lane in pretty much this lap. He's to come into the pit lane and serve his mandatory pit stop. But Magnani is out of the pit lane A-OK. You can see very happy camper, bottom right corner. You winning this race?
Here's Henry on screen there, but we just saw Felipe in the background. He's actually not that far from our leader, technically our leader from Lorenzo, but he's not far at all. But we'll see how that goes. I think Felipe had he's only 7 seconds off. Ooh, so Felipe's been put some really good lap times down, and he must have got a really good pit stop there. But we're going to watch this unfold. So there's our Aston Martin. Now watch Felipe come around the corner in a second. I thought we had actually seen him there for a second, but obviously the corners there is a chicane there and then a fast right, so it doesn't make sense if we didn't see him. But at the moment, we're going to watch this Ferrari go around, and what a gorgeous looking livery, by the way. I just want to point this out. But we're going to watch this unfold through the race, and we've got 2 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen. So here's the pit stop. I'd say this would be the pit stop, like Evan said. Evan doing the calls as usual.
Yeah, it's a beautiful Ferrari. You don't often see purple and yellow Ferraris, but that one is an absolute beautiful one. This man being cheered on by Leo Mora, of course, who was in this race. Leo saying he's representing the Omega Racing team. Of course, Leo, the owner of Omega Sim Race, and Leo, would you believe, one of the top road truck dirt track racers on iRacing. So I thought he might have been good in the old slippy and mucky conditions here this evening, but it was a setup issue for Leo that took him out of it, as Henrik is into the pit lane.
I did not know that, by the way. Good to see a fellow iRacer doing well.
Well, at least that's what I read when I was doing my research about Leo Mora. So hopefully that's true. But you can see here, this is Lorenzo Magnani, who is going to be back into the race lead, and this might be the last time round, actually, if he plays his cards right here.
I think this will be, actually, so only a minute. Yeah, I'd say this would be white flag, and he would be on the last lap. He's going to do these. By the way, let's just listen to this thing. I'm going to be quiet for a second, ladies and gentlemen. You can listen to this thing roar around this track because how good does this sound? Sweet sound of a V8 getting around with the Aston Martin. So this will be... Felipe's actually catching. It was 7 seconds and now it's 5 seconds. He won't have enough time, but I tell you what, if he just had a couple more minutes on his up his sleeve, I reckon it would have been a tighter battle. And this is actually Lois we're riding on board now. What an unfortunate race. He could have been on the podium or even a win maybe, seeing the pace he had riding back on the Zen. And
yes, this is Lorenzo Magnani. And I tell you what, if you want to introduce yourself to a championship, this is the way to do it, because the Gladius Competitions driver has got one today. Oh, that was a scary moment for him. That was a heart in the mouth moment, and that would have been a horrible way to throw away what's going to be such a fantastic win. Felipe was catching in the last few laps, but nobody is stopping Lorenzo Magnani. He crosses the line to win here in Silverstone. A fabulous result for him. He'll take the fastest lap as well. Felipe, though, gave it his absolute all, and he will take second. It's going to be Simone Seminara who'll come home to third. So despite being involved in the incident with his championship contender, he's still going to outscore him. An excellent result there for Simone. But Lorenzo Magnani, race winner here in AMX 1 this evening. As you can see, some more drivers coming in. Lomi will come home in 5th, which goes to show how well he was going. Even with a drive-through, he still comes 5th. Nadales will bring it home in 6th position. This is Simone Seminara, who's still pushing, funnily enough. Here is Henrique, of course, the VR headset runner, the top Ferrari here this evening. Only 2 Ferraris finished out of the race. That was Mandzukic and, of course, Maurizio Lozano, who hasn't actually finished out the race yet. But he will, presumably, as that is a fabulous race here this evening. I tell you what, Connor, I'm going to say it now because I've missed all but 2 of these ACC races. That's the best ACC race we've ever had in AMX.
Oh, that's a big call, but I think you're right about that.
It is. It's the biggest grid we've had.
You know what?
It's certainly, I think, the most exciting.
You know what? I'm going to do a big call, actually. So you know how you said this is probably the best ACC race we've had? I reckon this weekend is probably the best weekend we've ever had at AMX, period.
Oh, that's a big call.
It is a very big call, but last night, ladies and gentlemen, go and watch back with Damon. No, it wasn't Damon. Was Damon. I think it was. And myself. Actually, I could be wrong. I feel like I commentate with so many guys at this point, but go and watch last night. We had all the big wigs in the Porsche Cup, AMX 10. It was an awesome race to go and watch back, and I'm going to see who the commentator was, because if I don't find out who it was, I'm probably going to get shot by him. So give me a second.
Well, while Connor is doing that, we're going to run through your results. There is your no, that's not your BenQ session winner, actually. That is Mr. Airboxing, Mr. Shadowboxing, Juho, the Finnish driver. So just seeing the last couple of cars rounding around. Thank you very much for the wave, sir. You have definitely given me and Connor a laugh here this evening, as I think he's listening to us. Otherwise, he wouldn't know what we're saying, so he's definitely listening to us. But big wave to you. I've just waved. The directors are sat there going, what is he waving for? But I've just waved. I'm not on camera. But we're just rounding out the results here this evening, folks, for ACC. As that was a backwards car here at Silverstone. Look, even when the race ends, the chaos doesn't. Oh, here we go, finally. Here's the race results. It is Lorenzo Magnani who takes the race win in the AMR V8 Vantage GT3. Then it is Felipe in second, ahead of Simone Seminara in third. Mandzukic in fourth, then it is Lomi in fifth, and it is Nadales in sixth, ahead of Guerrero in seventh. Lois Reichner comes home in eighth, with Santiago Barrios in ninth, ahead of Maurizio Lozano in 10th, and it is Joan Barriero in 11th, with Sopanen in 12th, then it is Kuriaski in 13th position, ahead of Diogo Villarreal in 14th, who did wake up for the race, evidently. And it was Miro Regibui in 15th, Nico Godoy in 16th, and unfortunately it was a non-finish for the fabulous Leo Mora. But Magnani wins this evening, Connor. I think you'll be very happy with that performance.
I think you'll be very happy. And by the way, I just want to mention, I did find out who the commentator was, and it was Damon. So go and watch back last night, and I reckon it's probably been the best weekend since we've started this season. So yeah, go and watch back, and let's see what AMX can produce, and it always produces some good racing. But yeah, that was a very good race.
An absolute fabulous one. You are going to have a few minutes now, folks, where you can go back and check that out if you want. But coming up in AMX 10, we'll be here. We'll have another fabulous grid of drivers here. We'll have GTEs at the Daytona Road Course. We've raced many times in Daytona. In a NASCAR, we're going to have a go at it in the GT3 at the road course. Make sure you check out all our socials, which are at the bottom of the screen, Instagram, Twitch, X, Discord, YouTube, and TikTok. And if you want to sign up, I believe you still can sign up for AMX 10 if you want to race in about 20 minutes time. It is amxrace.com. Make sure you do go check that out. Myself and Connor will be back in a few moments, folks, but we're going to take a brief hiatus and pause the fabulous action in AMX, and we shall see you very, very shortly.
to save our home. We must travel through the gateway to find new energy.
On the 4th of April 1953, Bill France Sr. put in a proposal to build this fabulous facility. It is the Daytona International Speedway, of course, ladies and gentlemen. It may have been awarded Sport Business Journal's prestigious sports facility of the year in 2016, but all I know it as is a fantastic racing facility. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Evan Dalton. It's a pleasure to be joining you here this evening for AMX 10. We had some fabulous ACC action a couple moments earlier around Silverstone. We now head transatlantic over to the United States for what should be equally as good. And, of course, joining me once again, just as it was in ACC, Connor is back. Connor, you know a lot more about iRacing than ACC, as you've been a very successful racer on iRacing. How good is this track and car combo?
Oh, amazing, really. I unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of time in the GTE, but I got a lot of time around Daytona. I've won the Daytona 24 only once, won it in 2024 in top split. So, yeah, we'll... only once, yeah, so... try to do it next year, but yeah, it's an awesome racetrack. It's one of these racetracks for the Daytona 24. It's a bit of a track that you just do hot lap after hot lap, but for a sprint race, it's an amazing racetrack. A lot of banking, but a lot of passing opportunities. A lot of people associate Daytona as a bit of a not a passing opportunity kind of track, but yeah, there's quite a few. You got turn one, you got the chicane. And then you got all the banking, so yeah, it's an awesome track for racing. But the slipstream is a big thing about this racetrack, which is a bit of a NASCAR thing. But yeah, it's a really good racetrack.
Rubbing is racing, as they say in the States. We'll get more from Connor on the track and the car later. But before we get into the swing of things, I would like to invite you to check out, of course, all our social media channels. They're all listed below me. We have Instagram, Twitch, X, Discord, basically anything you want. And remember, you can check out amxrace.com. But before we look at the qualifying action live from the Daytona International Speedway, we're going to run you through a few housekeeping information screens. It is, of course, AMX Season 4, which is sadly almost over, but we've still got some brilliant combinations coming up. January 27th to April 21st, $20,000 in prizes. Isn't that fantastic? And, of course, some next-level racing gear, thanks to our sponsors. Most races in a year, and as we've said, we've got brilliant combinations of cars and tracks. If you're watching ACC earlier, iRacing format is a little bit different. If you just watch the iRaces, then you're well used to this by now. 20-minute qualifier, that's currently going underway. We'll be heading trackside shortly. Then it's a top 15 reverse grid. Then Heat 1 will be a 20-minute race. We reverse that grid again for Heat 2, which will also be a 20-minute race. There is prizes for every standings, and we're going to run you through them now. But first, if you do want to win some prizes, make sure to head over to amxrace.com. You can sign up. Your driver camera is required. We'll be looking at the drivers racing here this evening shortly. Remember, balance is over $100 for those prizes that we'll run you through in a few moments, and they'll be paid out each month. Of course, we race on Tuesdays, Saturdays and Sundays. But Evan, when do you race on Tuesdays, Saturdays and Sundays? Well, have I got news for you. We race AMX1 at 5:50 p.m. GMT. That's on Tuesdays, Saturdays and Sundays. And then 7:20 p.m. GMT for AMX10, once again on Tuesdays, Saturdays and Sundays. And remember, if you are living in Britain or Europe, you're no longer near GMT, you're in, of course, Central European summertime. Here is that prize pool then, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying Heat 1 and Heat 2, they're all weighted equally, apart from obviously you don't get any fastest lap bonus in qualifying. It's $30 if you top a session here in AMX 10 this evening. Then it goes down to 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 and 2. Prizes for the top 15, of course, and it's a $4 prize for the fastest lap, which is quite nice. If you spin out in turn 1, you're not really in the race, you can still pick yourself up a nice prize. A minimum road iRacing needed for this championship, and that'll be at $2,000. That's a $500 prize pool per race. Here is, of course, your AMX 10 top 12. It is the Frenchman of Gael Valero who is soaring high at the top. He has picked himself up over $1,100. 1,186 to be exact. He's won 2 races as well, or he's won 2 evenings, I should say. Raced in 25 of them. Aaron Vasquez in second, then a well-known driver ahead of Kieran Harrison, and Gaston Colhavi, then it's Dino Filippa in 5th, Jackson Mersenje in 6th, Fabio Zamperlini currently in 7th position ahead of Pedro Dean in 8th, then it's Simon de Mori in 9th, Juan Blenat in 10th, ahead of last season's winner Quentin Canez in 11th, and Peter Zuba in 12th position. And of course we have our points here for the AMX 10 GT Championship. As you can see, the order there from 2nd down to 10th, some fabulous names, with Jackson Mersenje currently in 2nd, Peter Zuba and then in 3rd, Fabio Zamperlini in 4th, Simon de Mori in 5th, Boris Ovando, the Texan, in 6th, out of Gaston Colhavi in 7th, Pedro Dean then in 8th with Aaron Vasquez, and Chris Lullum, the Team Redline driver, in 10th position. But they're all behind one man, of course, Mr. Gael Valero, the French ace, a man who's known for his Ford GTE shenanigans. He is, of course, leading the championship with 428 points. He is well clear. But let's see, can he do it tonight for where he's going to be racing? And to run you through a little bit more on the Daytona International Speedway and the GTE cars, I'm going to hand it over to Connor.
Thank you, Evan. Now, we've already talked about it a little bit, but let's talk about it a little bit more. And we'll just pop up Daytona there. Daytona Beach. So this track, do I need to say much about it? I think everyone's raced at this track. So Daytona was opened up in 1959. Obviously, there's a lot of oval stuff, and it's a track that's taken a lot of lives over the years. Obviously, one of the most famous NASCAR drivers, Dale, he lost his life at this track, but it is one of the best racetracks in the world. We have the IMSA race here every year for the Daytona 24, and it is an amazing track. It is 4Ks long, and it is in the USA. So we were just at Silverstone, which, go and check that race out. AMX won, really highly recommend it. I would actually say this is probably the best weekend we've had for AMX so far. So that is the racetrack we're at today. Now, let's go to the cars. So, recently we were racing these cars at Bathurst. So, I think these guys are actually enjoying these cars at the moment. And I think AMX might put a little bit more GTE next year. So, let's have a look at this car, hey? So, GTE class. So these cars have your normal GT cars, but these are basically the beefed up versions of a GT3. They have a Corvette and a Ford GT. That's probably the only difference about these things, but there's a lot more under the hood. 568 horsepower, that is the max of these cars. And you go, hey Connor, doesn't a GT3 have the same horsepower? Yes, my good friend, but they weigh less than a normal GT3 car, and they have more downforce. So the max they weigh is 1200 kilos, and that is a light car. Sequential gearbox, and the downforce, I would say it's almost pushing a prototype. You can see the pictures here with the rear wings and the huge diffusers on the back of them. If you race a Porsche RSR, you'll see the diffuser on the back of these cars, massive. They are an awesome car, and I wish they were still around, but they were too expensive to race, so it ended up being a class that got absolute in the bin and to the shadow realm. So we have no GTEs anymore in real life, but obviously our wonderful people at AMXrace.com, we have it going live, and we're going to be racing here at Daytona, and that's the car combo. And I'll throw it back to Evan, and we can go straight to qualifying.
Thank you very much, Connor. We're going to head straight to qualifying now at Daytona Beach, Florida. It's about 80 kilometers north of Orlando, Florida. Of course, you all know where Orlando, Florida is. No need to go through it. Race number 28 here, of course, for the AMX 10 Championship, qualifying about 10 minutes in now, so we're exactly halfway through as we jump in with you guys into qualifying. Current quickest man, it is Juan Blenat, the Argentine, who is the current quickest. He is ahead of Nezov in second, and Tobias Soriano in third. Gustavo Ariel in fourth. Simon de Mori in fifth. That's your order for now. Speaking of the man in fourth, Gustavo Ariel, we are on board with him now. He's currently picking up a nice little slipstream off the car in front. Kieran Harrison for SimRC jumps up to sixth position with a lap of 1:42.0. A decent lap there for Kieran Harrison. Very quick driver, of course, is Kieran. He's certainly one to keep an eye on this evening.
For sure, and like we were just talking about the red line driver, he's just about to come through the bus stop, which, look, what a great little section. This reminds everyone of the Watkins Glen bus stop. I would say the Americans were very fond of the bus stops, and they just put them at every racetrack that was ever made in this era. Obviously made in 1959. So yeah. And now he's just going to run all this banking right up the top, and he's going to try and get as much speed as possible. And he's in 6th gear already, and look at the rev lights absolutely banging off him at the moment. And he's going to get a bit of slipstream off this Ford GT. And we're going to start the lap with an 11.1k iRating driver down to turn 1, hit the brakes nice and hard, carry all the speed, hit the apex, drive off the corner, run all the way to the right-hand side, cut the curb, cut this curb, run it all the way to the left, brake in a straight line, brake as far into the corner as you can. Now we're on to Juan. Brake all the way into the apex, run it off into the corner, go all the way out to the left, come back to the right, straight, brake in a straight line. You really want to brake in a straight line. These things do have no ABS. That's the one thing I forgot to mention in this, in the pre-qualifying with the cars. No ABS, not like a GT3 when you can actually stamp the brakes. I think you can run these cars about 70% brake pressure. That's kind of the max of these cars. And Juan doing a good job. You see no lockups yet, and we can actually see a bit of flash of the headlights in the background there from the other Ford GT. I think he's telling the fellow Ferrari driver to get out of the way. I'm on a fast lap, and Juan doing a good job at the top of the leaderboards, by the way, by 2/10. He's doing very well, Juan. Having a good night last night in the Porsche Cup, sitting around the top 3, so he's been on a bit of a roll, so who knows what Juan could do with his iRacing career in the future. Talking about careers, Pedro Dean on board with that at the moment. He's been a bit of a driver that we've seen kind of floating around in AMX at the moment. He's been pretty competitive. We've been doing the reverse grids as usual, and he's been always up the front, never really down the back. He's been up the front. Oh, a bit of a wheel correction there into the entry. He had to correct the car a good 2 times there, but yeah, he's been up and down through the field, and it's been good to see Pedro Dean doing really well in his career of iRacing. And I'll throw it back to you, Evan, because I wanted to quickly mention that about Pedro, but he's been doing really well.
Yeah, he's been doing really well, looking to try and find some time in qualifying. Here is Gael Valero in the Ford, as per usual, down towards the bus stop, which actually got renamed to the Le Mans Chicane. This got renamed to the Le Mans Chicane, and then the second final chicane in Le Mans got renamed to the Daytona Chicane. I could not tell you why, to put it frank, but they did that, as Gael Valero currently heading through the bank.
No, keep going. No, I was going to say, was it because of a bit of a split with IMSA and WEC combining maybe last year? I wonder.
Could be, but they had some reason for it, clearly, because they did it. Valero, yeah, that's not what you want. Oh, that's not what you want to do. At turn number 1 of Daytona, he's driven into that wall on purpose. That's not really a car error, as we see. Juan Blanat has actually gone purple in the 3rd sector, so he's looking to maybe go quickest. No, enters the pit lane. Obviously felt he wasn't going to improve on that time. A lot of outlaps here. These drivers going out for their final run. This is it's another VR driver. Usually we have Tim State with the VR, but this is the Gampo who is running the VR in that famous livery. These sort of the mint blue gradiented into the dark blue. The Falcon sponsorship is kind of an infamous livery, I suppose, in motorsport now, but he's running it here this evening, and looking to maybe improve a little bit more than 15th. Actually, I say that, this would be pole for the first race, so it's not the worst position to qualify, but still plenty of laps to come in, as Tobias Soriano in 3rd now exits out to the circuit.
was going to say about Fabio, I actually thought it was SVG or Brad Newman for a second, who's they used to run that livery quite a bit in Australia, so Shane Van Gisbergen running that livery in officials, just because there's a bit of a meme floating around in that community of drivers with the Falcon livery, so I thought it was them for a second, but anyway, it was Fabio driving around that famous livery. Talking about famous people, Harrison, good to see him back. We've kind of missed him. He's been in a couple of races in AMX this season. He's been very competitive, obviously in our chart livery scene, and he's been doing very well.
Yeah, great driver is Kieran Harrison. Kind of the only British driver really in an AMX, or at least that I've seen, until, of course, your red line folks pop in and out here and there. We're currently looking at Alexei Nezov in 4th spot, getting a bit of a slipstream off one of the cars in front, but he has lifted off heading in towards the bus stop chicane, so he won't be improving on this lap, I don't believe. Fabio Zampolini set a personal best in the 3rd sector. Pedro Dean set a personal best in the 4th sector, and you can see Victor Miranda as well. There's green sectors left, right and centre here, but no real proper improvements, unless, of course, you are the 10th place driver, Pedro Dean, in the Porsche. Currently the top Porsche in the field. Actually, I'll check the final screens. I believe he'll be the only Porsche in the field. He is the only Porsche driver in the field, which is a little bit weird, because the Porsche does have incredible cornering ability, and obviously there is some difficult corners. We're into turn number 1 now on board with Nezov, and then braking down towards turn number 2. This is sort of a flat little kink, and then you get in towards the Rodriguez International Horseshoe, which is turn number 3, or just a horseshoe as it's called at the best of times, unless you haven't realised. There's a lot of different names for all these corners. Down towards the leg of turn number 4, this is again flat out in a GTE and a GT3, and braking for the West Horseshoe, turn number 5. Funny also, Conor, you mentioned the no ABS of these cars, because trust me, the GTE drivers love to mention it. I was talking to Ben Keating, who is probably the #1 bronze driver in the world, on Twitter. I posted a tweet and he replied to it, and someone replied to him saying, "You're a fraud, you only use ABS." And he was like, "Hey, wait till I tell you." And he had a full-on rant, and GT3s don't have ABS. So trust me, these guys are proud of not using ABS.
Yeah, I think that's like a lot of communities. Like, there was a debate in V8 Supercars about should they get rid of sequential gearboxes in a supercar, right? And there was a debate that heel toe would have been a thing of the past. So there's a lot of debates out there for a lot of cars, but I think it all comes down to almost what the driver wants, I find, and what I'd say the sport wants to go in a certain direction, and luckily they kept the sequential gearbox and the heel toe because they wanted to keep that as a skill involved in the series. But obviously this is a series that got thrown in the bin, but it's I think drivers like to keep that skill in their back pocket at the end of the day. I feel like that's the best way to sum it up without starting a Twitter debate.
We're currently looking at Victor Miranda, of course, for the Tony Kanaan esports team. He is currently being a beneficiary of the slipstream. Sorry, no, he's actually providing the slipstream to one of his Kanaan esports drivers behind. It's a tactic that we see in the 24 hours of Daytona, the virtual one. At least I know Team Redline executed it well during the night stints this year, and I'm sure other teams did it at some point. But that is something these guys are trying. You usually don't see too many tactics like this around long circuits because it's such a short format. It's only a 20-minute qualifying, but this is the last lap that these guys will be getting in. This is Boris Avando, who's coming towards the bus stop in the BMW, surprisingly enough. The only man in the BMW here this evening. It can take the curbs, can this car? That's one benefit of it. And of course we have a lot of curbs here this evening. It does have a forgiving traction control system in the GT3s. I'm not sure if they put that in there, the GTE counterpart. But here comes Boris Avando towards the start-finish line. This is his first time running the session, so it will be his best one, but let's see where it puts him. Holding right down onto the apron and across the start. Oh, I think he's just missed it. Oh, that's sort of horrible timing. He did. He just missed it. He didn't get time on the board. Oh, that is a sick nerve. Your name is Boris Avando.
I love how I love how you say BMW. By the way, it must be a European thing. How you guys say BMW? It's like you guys put a big capital W at the end. I love it. It's not a bad thing. I think it's quite funny how you guys say. I kind of laugh when you guys say BMW, but it's yeah, I love it. But anyway. I better stop with the banter, but have a look who's at the top. The metal engine. Juan taking the pole position, the BenQ session. But $30 in the back pocket. Oh, I'm gonna laugh too much. But yeah, I was gonna say I say BMW, which is yeah. Oh, but anyway.
It's Juan Blenat who is your BenQ session winner for qualifying. Then it is Gustavo Ariel in second, Tobias Soriano, apologies, in third, and it's Alexei Nevov in fourth. Then it is Simon Tamori in fifth, the German-Austrian, with another good qualifying result. Then it's Harrison, Jaru, Sanjay, Kalhavi, Valero, Zubadin, Miranda Benitez, Zamperlini, Chico, and Fabio De Carmo. So we've Bruno De Carmo and Fabio De Carmo here this evening. I was wondering why it was two De Carmos on the order, but that's your top 18. Pole for the race will be Ralph Benitez. Not to be confused, of course, with football manager Rafa Benitez, who I don't think races in AMX on Sunday nights. But here is heat number one. It's got to be a rolling start around the Daytona International Speedway, home, of course, of the famous Daytona 500 and the Daytona Rolex 24, part of the IMSA Championship. Of course, we're not going to bother talking about the Daytona 500. We are strictly talking about sports cars this evening. Most wins at a Rolex 24. That'll be Hurley Haywood with 5. Scott Pruitt tied with him, of course. Then you get into your more familiar names with 3. Of course, your Scott Dixons, your Helio Castro Neves, is that sort of bunch. Infield section, 180 acres large. It could fit Disneyland twice.
Oh, wow. I love Disneyland. I've went once. It's great. Their popcorn's really good. I don't know if you've had their caramel popcorn, but that's what I remember every time. I think about food every time. There you go. But anyway, moving on to the race. They're just warming up their tyres now, and on the banking, which look at the banking, by the way. I'm just going to search up how many degrees the banking is, because I actually don't know how many degrees Daytona banking is.
Banking, I do know this. This is in my back pocket somewhere, but I cannot think of the banking. It is larger than the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which of course is located in Indiana. It is certainly bigger than that, and they actually built the banking with the rubble from the infield lake that they built. That's what the banking is held on. But all that talk aside, we've now got roaring race cars here at the Daytona International Speedway. We go racing in Florida. Ralph Benitez with a great start in towards turn number 1. Victor Miranda is forced on the outside. It's the two Brazilians who lead in towards the first section. And as you can see, Carmo, that's Bruno De Carmo, who's trying to make a move on Gaston Canhavi. Gael Valero up to 5th place, the Frenchman. The AMX 10 Championship leader is in 5th spot. And now Victor Miranda down the inside of Ralph Benitez in towards the International Horseshoe for the first time. It is Victor Miranda who is ahead.
Maxi having a big wobble through there, so that gives Harrison in the background give it another spot up, and up the front though, Peter Zuber and having a battle.
That's a collision.
Red line driver straight off the road, and Harrison going through, making another spot, but the red line driver off the road. It seems like every time there's a red line driver, they always go off the road from someone knocking the wrong way. We saw Luke Bennett getting knocked around last night, but getting the win though. Not the win, the P2 from last night though. Up the front though, it's a good battle. But Simon Demore, we've seen him getting around. He's gotten a few wins and podiums through this season, so let's see him have another successful run. Oh, moving around the banking, almost 3 wide, giving him the almost contact there. Tobias trying to cover off the driver behind him, which was I think that was Swan trying to get a move done, and through the banking, through the bus stop, sorry. Up through the front of the field though, Ralph in P2 trying to get some run on to Victor Miranda in front of him.
Yeah, There's a great opening battle as they head on to what is a 31-degree banking. I have to look that one up. Peter Zuba getting past Ralph Benitez in towards the first corner. As you can see, here is the Gustavo Ariel and Jackson Mersenje incident. Oh, look at this! Oh, look at this! It's 2 by 2 by 2. It's like Noah's Ark. Oh no! That's a Ford got across. It was Noah's Ark. Now it's a flood of debris in towards turn number 2. That is a horror incident. That's the 7 of Jackson Mersenje again involved in that one, and dare I say that was Juan Blanat maybe. Oh no, sorry, Fabio Zappellini in that one actually, as now we see Bruno De Carmo trying around the outside of Pedro Dean. I tell you what, it's an action-packed first couple of laps there.
Gaston right behind him with Harrison as well. So this is a very good battle. Was shaking up the Porsche in front as well in P5, so he's going to have really good grip in the infield, which the cars in the officials in the IMSA we're actually running more wing instead of getting less downforce. So keep that in mind. So the Porsche could be strong. Harrison trying to make a move around the outside. He's got to try and do it before the bus stop around the outside. He's going to get the move done, and the Ferrari backs out, which is Gaston. Very smart driver. And Harrison goes through, makes up another spot, 3 spots up at the moment. And we're on Bruno at the moment. Up to the front, Victor Miranda still in the lead in the Texaco racing car. And look at this Ford. Peter Zuba, he's going to try and go around the inside. Oh no, outside. I thought he was going to try and get him under the banking. Look at this, Peter Zuba around the outside. Is he going to get him into turn 1? I think he might do it. Peter Zuba around the outside. Tries to do it. Does he commit a little bit? No, he backs out of it. And Victor Miranda still keeps the lead at the moment. It's going to be a good race.
It is going to be a good race. As you can see, Miranda just defending into the international horseshoe. There's the opponent cam. As you can see, Victor Miranda and Peter Zuba laser focused. We saw on the face cam some guys laughing and joking in ACC. There's none of that here in iRacing. These guys mean business, and Victor Miranda is in the race lead. Move in the background now. This is Gaston Gilhavy trying to slide it down the inside of Pedro Dean. As you can see, the 48 and the 11 battling there. As here is this Jackson Mersenje incident. He's pushed wide in towards the first corner. Oh, it's just a coming together. Maybe a little bit of net code involved in it with that black and red car there on the inside. But yeah, that's just an unfortunate collision. But I digress. We carry on, and De Carmo, that is not Bruno, that is of course the other De Carmo on the grid, up to 18th now, as I believe Juan Blanat is into the pit lane. Gael Valero not able to get past. Gael is living in dreamland. He has another Ford up with him at the front.
Seems like those Fords are working together. It seems like almost Daytona 500 kind of work with the Fords working together. And we've got a couple of Brazilians behind as well, so they always work together. I've noticed. So Ralph and Bruno right behind. So let's see Gael Valero try and go around the outside. 3 wide! Coming up to turn 1. Gael Valero trying to do the old go-karting strategy. Is that going to be contact into turn 1? No! Victor Miranda is going to keep in front, and it's going to... Oh, look at these guys behind! Harrison trying to go around the outside of Bruno Caramel, and Ralph trying to cover the inside. Valero trying to make a move. Harrison up the inside. He's going to get the move done. Great move up the inside of Bruno there, and Harrison on the charge, 5 spots up, and he looks like he's actually on par with Martin Chico at the moment. So Harrison on a good drive at the moment. Here's the overtake there in the bottom right.
On board for Kieran Harrison as he gets past Ralph Benitez in towards the Western Horseshoe and in towards turn number 6 and turn number 7. What an amazing scrap we had in towards turn number 1. They were 3 wide. That's something you get in the Daytona 500, not the Rolex 24. But you do get it here in AMX, of course. This might not be an endurance race, but it certainly is the same amount of prestige as anything that goes on here at the World Centre of Racing. In towards the bus stop again, then they go. Is there going to be a move potentially here? No, there will not, and they will stay single file, line astern Out of the corner they go. Will Gael Valero maybe try tee up a move on the pair of them in towards the first corner? Gael is a man who likes a big moment. This could be his big moment in heat number 1. We're going to be heading on to lap number 5. Still plenty of racing to go here in this 20-minute heat. As we're on board with Gael, you can see Kieran Harrison's on board, and here we go. Here is the overtake again. Petter Zuba gets the job done. Gael Valero bump drafting his fellow Ford in towards the first corner. Doesn't opt for the slingshot round the outside. He's going to maybe settle for second here. Who'll break the later of the two? It's going to be Petter Zuba who breaks the later of the two. And look at Kieran Harrison. Just take a look at Kieran Harrison. That's pure bravery down the inside by the Brit. He's now up to third place, looking for Zuba on the outside in towards the international horseshoe. Can he maybe get the exit on Petter Zuba? No, he cannot, but that is still a brilliant piece of driving by Kieran Harrison in the number 6.
Typical Brits trying to conquer everything, and I think Harrison's going to try and conquer the American track here at Daytona. But shots at the Brits, but moving on. But Harrison doing a great move there. And is he going to go up the inside? No, he's going to try and keep that slipstream there. And Victor Miranda trying to get some breathing room at the moment, because he, I'd say he's just trying to get some laps under his belt and then sort everything out. But look at these Fords battling, and we saw Gael Valero just, the bum drafting was amazing, by the way. I just want to point that out. That was spectacular, and Gael Valero might do the same with Harrison here, the Frenchman, doing very smart moves at the moment. He's not doing anything big at the moment, but Harrison doing very, very good moves there. And now onto the banking, and Victor Miranda, look at just right on the bottom. He's trying to go as fast as possible and try and get away from this pack. Harrison around the outside, getting a move done. He could drop down low on this straight. I reckon he will. Slipstreaming on the outside. Harrison, is he going to get the move done? He can get this done. Peter Zuba keeping that inside line. Gael Valero is going to go with Zuba. Zuba still on that inside, Harrison around the outside. Harrison with a heap of grip. Peter Zuba, though, is going to keep that moving. And Victor Miranda is still there. Yeah, Valero trying to go around the outside.
He's still there. As you can just see, Gael just trying to tuck in. He's got Bruno De Carmo, apologies, right behind him, as is Jarouz there in 7th. But this is a cracking scrap, and you can see Victor Miranda. Will he buckle under the pressure from Petter Zuba? I'm not so sure. As you can see, Kieran Harrison just trying to maybe nudge past the Ford in front of him, but it's a gaggle of Fords, but not the Ford leading. Is the Ferrari that's currently in the lead of this race. Little bit wide maybe there for Victor Miranda. He might have just gone for an outside line. He could be a sitting duck heading through the banking, because Petter Zuba will have a massive slipstream, as will Kieran Harrison, as will the whole train pretty much. Here comes Petter Zuba. Going to try it round the outside in towards the Le Mans chicane of turn number 10 and 11. Here he goes. It is the red Ford, a little bit of a nudge to the black Ferrari, but Petter Zuba leads the race. I don't think Miranda's going to mind that at all, though, because he's into the slipstream now, exiting the bus stop and on towards the banking. We're almost at the halfway point of this race, and look at this. Petter Zuba runs it high round here. He's going to let these guys maybe just go past. This is, he's going to be absolutely annihilated by these three. It's almost like the Tour de France, where the leader drops to the back, as here comes Gael Valero trying to go round the outside of Kieran Harrison. No, that's not going to work.
Look at this, the two big teams working together. They know, look at this. The Apex car is going to try and defend. Victor Miranda trying to go around the outside, and look at that, Gael Valero working together there. And now there's two teammates there, right, but Bruno and Victor Miranda, so this could be good. Carmo just doing very well, just sitting there with Miranda there, just working together. So this should be interesting, two teammates working together, but it looks like Harrison and Gael Valero, obviously with two Fords, I think they're going to work together, because it looks like they can bump draft with looking like the front of the Ford is very slim at the front, and the back of it's just got a big diffuser at the back. So, but if they do push the wrong way, it's going to be a big death. But the Asher Racing car leading this field, and I'll tell you what, Asher Racing will fantastic. I've got one myself, so ups to Asher Racing. But now Harrison leading the race, 9 spots up and leading this race.
You can see Gael Valero just gaining and gaining, 275 kilometers per hour, and maybe even a little bit more than that in the slipstream, but he has to brake early. There was no avenue to get past Kieran Harrison. It was a cul-de-sac in towards the chicane, but now he's got the exit on the Britain front, and Gael Valero, the experienced pro here in AMX, is going to try the outside. No, I believe it's going to be a little bit of a bump draft. Gael getting a full-blown view of the SimRC name on the back of that car. He wants the inside here, almost looking towards the apron in towards turn number 1. They're just hugging the yellow line, but Gael cannot find a way past the yellow car. Is there going to be a lunge potentially in towards the first corner? No, Gael stays behind actually. Gael, definitely a man who knows how to bide his time, and he's doing that again effectively.
I think what Valero's doing, I think he knows in the back of his head, right, I'm in P2 at the moment, I don't really need P1, I'm just going to grab some points. At the end of the day, you've got no Vasquez here tonight, so there's some points. So I think Valero's going, hey, if I can just get some points tonight, second place, and then the next race, who knows what's going to happen. That's a bit of a win at the end of the day. Like, all Valero needs to do in Heat 2 would be maybe get a top 10 just to get some solid points. So Valero doing really well. But Harrison, though, 9 spots up. What a superb drive at the moment. He's just doing magical things at the moment in the Brit, knowing what he's doing. Very good to see.
Excellent performance from Kieran Harrison so far. Lap 8 of 12 gone here in AMX1. If you're not familiar with the format, we've got another race coming up shortly after this one. Do not worry. Towards the bus stop again they go. You can just see Valero get close in towards the rear view camera of Kieran Harrison. They're both laser focused, heading in towards the 9th lap of proceedings. The 20 of Valero's got a fabulous run. He's just going to nudge him again.
I think, like I said, I think Valero's just going to buy some time and just... Ooh! Cheeky scratch down the side of Harrison's car. That's... yeah, I don't think the guy that painted Harrison's car would be happy with that. I know my guy that paints my cars wouldn't be happy about that. Yeah, no, I don't think that's a pit stop buffer, but Valero, though, they're out of the slipstream from P3 and P4, and I just saw in the chat saying they're Prob's teammates. Yes, we did mention that before, so you are right there on money. So there are teammates behind, but it just looks like the two Fords working together. Obviously, with the Fords having more power, this is definitely the Fords' track at the moment, and obviously being an American track, so it definitely makes sense in my mind. But Peter Zuber right behind in P5, so we saw him get a slowdown before, and actually it was either a regress for the bump or it could have been a slowdown, but I'm thinking more slowdown because I don't think you'd want to give up 4 spots.
No, don't think so. I think you're spot on with that one. Probably a slowdown of some sort, as we can see. The battle for third, there's kind of a schism in between the top two and the battle for third now, with the two Tony Kanaan esports cars of Victor Miranda and Bruno De Carmo battling for third and fourth. They'll eventually start scrapping, even though they're teammates. There's no questions about that. They will start battling at some point, and you can see Kieran Harrison just still ahead of Gael Valero. I imagine this will be just a bit of deja vu towards turn number 1 with the bump draft from Valero, and you can see here it comes, and bonk, there's the nudge. It's a bump draft between the two Ford. These two have raced each other in AMX for seasons, and they have raced each other in other series for seasons. They both know how good they are, and they both know if they work together here, they could certainly pull away. As we can see, one car moving out of line in the background. I think that was the red car of Peter Zuba again, and you can just see Valero hanging around the outside. That seems to be the line. If you can't get up close to the car in front, you run around the outside and hope for a good exit. Gaston Harvey makes a move past Tim State for the reverse grid pole for Heat 2. He's now up to 15th, but State gets back past.
State actually just dropping, actually. He's moving around, but he's actually having a good night. He's had some mediocre races for his standards, and yeah, I think he's on point for tonight, doing really well. Peter Zuber, though, running on board now. And is he wearing no headphones, I can see? I think I'm right.
Oh, yes.
So using... That's... actually, here's a story. My headphones actually died the other day in a race, and I had to use my speakers. And I tell you what, it is not fun when you go from full-blown headphones to speakers. But him using speakers, Peter Zuber around the outside, apparently it's working. He's going to go straight around the outside, doing well. He's going to try and tuck in as much as he can. Is he going to bum Bruno? I don't think he is. Look at this Ford behind, though. Tobias just tucking in. Oh, Bruno almost going straight in the back of Zuber, and Zuber's going to go straight through. And what a fabulous looking wheel, by the way. I've just noticed from Zuber's cockpit there. I actually don't know what that wheel is, but it looks very nice. And he's going to try and catch the back of Victor Miranda. I've got ADHD. I see one thing and I'm like, ooh, shiny. But Victor Miranda doing well. Just pull away for a second and here we go, Tobias around the outside. Is he going to try and get this done on Bruno? He could do it. He's going to tuck in. Does he go under, actually? No, it doesn't look like it at the moment. We're riding on board with... I think that's Tobias. Yes, that is Tobias with the camera down in the bottom left. And we actually just got a text down in the bottom right there. I don't know if that was Twitch chat or something else. I'm unsure about that. No, that is very new. The producers of AMX
in this race, Peter Zuber, that lovely wheel, had a huge moment towards the bus stop. You're going to bounce off a bump or something, or maybe even a bit of a net code off Bruno the camera behind him, but he had to catch that car. He's the top two again, lap 11 out of 12. We're going to be going on to the final lap of the race soon. And really, Gael Valero, he's probably not going to want to bump draft his rival now if he wants to win this race. Kieran Harrison up 9 spots. He's driven an excellent race. Valero's going to bump draft him now, but I think this will be the last of many favours that he has given the Brit in towards the first corner.
To be fair, though, if he makes friends now, the next race makes it even easier, though. If you start making enemies in Heat 1, then you've got to race them in the next race. Yeah. So I feel like Valero might just stay behind and make some friends, or he could just go for the last lap and just use the banking as a run. Here's a little battle. So this is Victor Miranda, who has had a very good night so far. He was up in P1 and now into P3. And Peter Zuber, he's had a really good night. He was up the front there, but got a slowdown, so he's just making his way back through now in P4. And we're actually just we're just jumping back to Bruno Carmon with into P6. He's just got Maxi behind him, who's been a very strong competitor. Maxi straight up the inside, tries to get the move done. Bruno's giving him heaps of room, which is very nice of him. And Maxi's going to get the move done. Very good move there. And this is white flag as well, so everything's on the table now. The gloves have been taken off their hands, and Maxi covering the inside. Bruno's going to try and go around the outside. In front of us, Tobias and Peter Zuber and Victor Miranda. So they need to keep in this slipstream to be in that battle. P3, and they're not in that battle anymore. This is unfortunate for these two, and Bruno knows this. He knows this. He knows in the back of his head that we're out of the slipstream now. We're in trouble. But at the same time, he could get the run on Maxi. Bruno, though, and Harrison and Valero. This looks like Valero's going to stick behind and become friends with Harrison. Harrison through the bus stop. Does Valero go around the outside for the last corner? Harrison through the chicane, using all the curbs. Does he get the slowdown on the exit? No, he doesn't. Good run on the exit. Harrison going to drop up the high line, go to below, and Valero around the outside. Valero's going to try and do this. Harrison trying to give him slipstream, which is quite weird, dropping back down low. Valero's going to get this, so...
Oh, here comes
Valero's going to
Gael.
go straight around the outside. And Valero's going to get this.
Here comes Gael Valero. It's going to be a drag race to the line. It's going to be the Frenchman who takes it across the line. Oh, here is it as we just go past the grandstand. Gael Valero. Well played, sir. That was precision and excellence in using the draft. He weaved up high, tucked down below, got unbelievable suction behind the Ford of Kieran Harrison, and was able to take the race win. That's how you become a champion. That's the sort of moves that make you a champion. Gael Valero proving why he is one of the best here in AMX.
And that's why he races for Apex as well, sim racing. It proves a lot of things from Valero there. Dropping through the field, just having a look at that Falcon livery again. famous Australian liveries that we see in a lot of Australian series these days. Falcon livery doing quite well, and he's going to finish up in 18th. Fabio Caramel, which is that's I think that's a brother of Bruno Carmo.
It is.
Interesting. Oh. Bit of a family thing going on.
Well,
which
they're
is good to
siblings
see.
of some sort.
Yeah,
Well,
there's a
it's
relationship there.
cousins.
I was actually trying to get my brother into sim racing, but he said no, which was kind of unfortunate. But have a look at the back of that Ford, which is... Oh, this is one. Oh, no. Which is the diffuser absolutely blowing the pieces. He was actually a pole seater, which is unfortunate. I was about to sneeze, so that's why I paused there.
I was trying to do the same as you and get my brother into sim racing, and then I realised I don't have one, so that wasn't too successful. But here is your full results. Your BenQ session winner is Gael Valero in first position by 0.045, picking up himself $30. And it was Kieran Harrison in second, Pedro Zuba in third, Victor Miranda in fourth, Tobias Soriano in fifth, and it is Bruno De Carmo in sixth, Ralph Benitez in seventh, Maxi Jarros in eighth ahead of Alexei Nezov in ninth, Simon de Mori in 10th, Gustavo Ariel in 11th, then it was Martin Chico in 12th, Pedro Dean 13th with Boris Avando in 14th, Gaston Kilhavy in 15th. He'll be starting on the reverse grid pole, and it was Tim State, Fabio Zampolini, and Fabio De Carmo. It was Maxi Jarros who picked up the fastest lap, so he picked up himself a nice bonus $4. Heat 1, very successful. Heat 2, I think, is going to be just as exciting, Connor.
I was going to say, my jokes are starting to rub off on you. Just noticing what you said
this
there.
is how sarcastic I am all the time.
I love it, but I'm still laughing about it. But we have an American in P2. I think at Bathurst we had an American. I don't know if it was Boris or someone else, but I was quite happy there was an American up the front. So Boris starting in P2, which is Matakan, and I think he'd be quite happy. But he's got Gaston right behind, right next to him, which is a very good competitor. So should be a good start. And then we've got Martin Checo, Pedro Dean, which I mean we don't really need to say much about Checo. He's a very good racer. Pedro Dean though, he's a bit of a competitor that we've seen up the front in Heat 2 normally, but he holds his own. Then we got a red line driver right behind him with Simon Demont, which he's gotten a few wins this season. So let's see Simon do something in this race, and let's get this underway. Evan, you can call this if you want to, mate.
Well, we're heading onto the front stretch, and it is going to be Gaston Kilhavy who gets us underway in the Ferrari as we go racing for the final time this evening here around the Daytona International Speedway. Gustavo Ariel in the red line car, lunging it, trying it round the outside, and you can see he's gone way wide actually. He's gone way wide as Gustavo Ariel, and oh, there's a car gone off there. Oh no, it is a GTE car park heading through turn number 1 and 2. That is Nezov who's off the track. Boris Avando is off the track as well. It seems like Gustavo Ariel's late braking in towards the first corner had a little bit of a ricochet effect on the rest of the field, and now they are falling down the order, and rather ironically Gustavo's only fallen to 9. Harrison was involved in that one, as was I believe Gael Valero in 12th. It was it Simon it was Alexei Nezov who was involved in that one, sorry, but drama in the first corner.
Big dramas indeed. And, bit of contact. Oh, that Ford. That Ford just, whoa. Okay, everyone calm down.
There's cars everywhere. There was cars gone everywhere. That was Maxi Jarros who spun round. I believe one of the Tony Kanaan esports cars went around as well. Yeah, that was Jackson Resenje, I believe, who went around, as Tobias Soriano is going to head up to third here past Simon de Mori. Simon running one of the classic Ford sort of liveries here, and I like that one, I really do, in fourth place. Here's in your picture in the bottom right. This is your incident in the first corner. That's Ariel who has gone on a little bit of an adventure on the exit of turn number 1, but it was actually a separate incident. As you can see, that was the blue car of Boris Avando who was spun off. and then there was more cars spun, and then there was another car hit him, and then there was more spun. As you can actually see, there's problems for someone. That is Simon Zamori into the pit lane. It's free wide into the first corner, though. Gaston Kilhavy, Pedro Dean, Gustavo Arial. It's Arial on the very outside. It is Tobias Sariano on the inside. Tobias Sariano is in fact just exquisite, and a piece of absolute racing prestige from Tobias Sariano. Here comes Gustavo Arial trying it on the outside. If you're in the Team Redline livery, you've always got a chance of pulling the overtake off. Gustavo is a man who has extremely good racing experience. He couldn't put it to much use. It was Tobias who got ahead in the 13.
If you race for Max Verstappen, you've got to drive like Max Verstappen, and that's what he's doing. Great racing from here. Ariel just putting the car in the right spots there. A little bit of contact and pushing him through the corner. And that's actually Tobias right in front. I thought that was Peter Zuber for a second, but Peter Zuber right behind, actually. Ariel just getting pushed along, and I'm shocked that he's in a Ferrari, but I think it makes sense because he's got a bit of a mix of, he's got downforce, but he's got pace on the straight, so it's actually a great choice from Ariel here. And let's see, he's backed off a little bit. That was smart. I thought he would go for the move there. Here's an incident with Checo and Orlando, and Orlando's just been turned around there, and Checo just turning him around there. He's not had a good night, the American. He had a great start, then he's just been turned twice, so in the first 2 laps, so you wouldn't be too happy with that. 10 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen, of the last heat of Heat 2, or of tonight, actually, sorry. And here comes a Porsche around the outside, which is Pedro Dean. Going around the outside, trying to make a big statement. Around the outside, does he go under the Ferrari? No, he doesn't. Gaston having a great performance under braking from the Ferrari. I thought Pedro Dean would have had a better braking performance there, but they need to almost stop fighting, because the moment they start fighting, they're just going to let this pack come through. And have a look at this. Victor Miranda straight up the inside, making great moves. And then Peter Zuber getting past there. Look at that. Great move by Victor Miranda there, showing who's boss in that Ferrari, and he's right behind the red line driver, which is Ariel. And Ariel just playing smart at the moment, saved a bit of fuel and backed off a little bit from Tobias, because he knew he wasn't going to make that pass through the bus stop, so he backed off and tried to get him on the straight, but he couldn't do it because that Ford is very strong on the straight. So Tobias doing very well, leading this train though.
Yeah, Victor Miranda 4th, Victor Miranda 5th, sorry. Peter Zuber 6th, Gael Valero 7th, and it is Bruno De Carmo in 8th. But Pedro Dean was looking for the race lead in that Porsche. Remember, Porsche Penske Motorsport taking the Rolex 24 overall win in 2024. Joseph Newgarden, Felipe Nasser and co. taking that win. But it's been mostly Fords here this evening who were involved in it. That is Gustavo Arial's on board here in the Team Redline Ferrari. He was one-handed for the bus stop, which is rather impressive. He is almost inviting himself past the car in front. That is Tobias Soriano. He's got to go for the inside here. He's in the pit lane. That is that's winning for him. I wonder why he's headed into the pit lane.
Can we get a camera on Ariel and see if they needs a pit stop for these Ferraris?
That's a
Victor Miranda around. That's Victor Miranda around. That was not ideal.
Ralph Benitez.
Zuber leading this train now, and Tobias getting a little bit of clean air on the front of his nose and the rear bumper. He's actually catching Pedro Dean at the moment, but Tobias almost needs to push from Peter Zuber, so he can get up to the front of these two, but he's on the podium at the moment, and I'd say Tobias wants more than a podium for tonight from the T2. But talking about podiums and everything, where's Harrison? Oh, Harrison's actually down in the pack, and Valero's actually in P6 at the moment. The man, the myth, the legend, the Frenchman, is just carving his way through with absolute ease at the moment. So Valero's just got to go up the inside and make it look easy, which annoys the hell out of me, but you know, that's Valero's thing. And then Valero's just going to come through the pits, and there's the contact with Zuber and Miranda, but it looks like Miranda's just turned in, and Zuber was there, couldn't really do much, and Miranda's went around. So unfortunate, but it's all racing at the end of the day, isn't it?
It is, yeah. That's unlucky for Victor Miranda, who was running a strong race. This is Pedro Dean, who are on board with Gaston Kilhavy. They're trying to be the Valero and Harrison regen here in heat number 2, the bump drafting, and it is working. Gael Valero, speak of the devil, has overtaken Peter Zuba in down the front stretch and in towards turn number 1. Oh, they're too wide just behind Gael Valero. This is Bruno De Carmo and Peter Zuba. De Carmo in the Tony Kanaan Esports car was able to get past for a brief moment, but not for a long time, as Peter Zuba dives back down the inside in towards the International Horseshoe, and he's got the job done now. It's Juan Blaine Nat who's looking to get past Bruno De Carmo and in towards 6th place, but it was a no-go there for now. Gael Valero, my God, does he have pace around this Daytona International Speedway. Look at this one from Juan Blaine Nat trying it around the outside. That was a no-go there for him. Unfortunately, he'll stay behind for the time being, but Kieran Harrison was involved in that incident on the opening lap. Gael Valero is just cutting through the field like a hot knife through butter.
At the moment, this man needs to be signed by someone like a Redline team, because he is just flying at the moment. No one's stopping him at the moment. Everyone's almost. It almost looks like he's just going, oh yeah, I'll just go around the outside. Oh yeah, whatever. Like, that's just how he's driving at the moment. It just looks like he's doing it with ease. But you watch his camera and he's just focused, just doesn't say much, just does his thing, doesn't smile, drives along. Oh yeah, then gets in the commentary box. Oh, it looks okay, but then, you know, goes back to does his normal thing. That's just Valero. And look, he's a great guy. He jumps in the commentary box and he's a great guy to talk to. And I can't wait for him to come back in the commentary box sometime soon. I'm sure he'll get dragged in after this, but he's just going to do what he did last race. Tobias is getting pushed massively at the moment, and they're 9/10 in and they're in the slipstream already. So Tobias, he needs to make a decision. He goes, right, plan number 1, I fight with Valero. Number 2 is I help Valero to get up here, and then we work together. And I would say he's going with number 2 at the moment. So the Apex sim racer is going to do what he knows best and drive very well. And they're on the back of car number 1 and car number 2 at the moment. They're doing very well.
Yeah, this is excellent from Gael Valero. This is really smart racing. He's back. He's brought Tobias Soriano back into the slipstream. Bring Tobias back into the slipstream and then overtake him, and he's in the slipstream. But the Apex Racing man doing a fabulous job. Don't think Apex Racing team would be too happy with Connor suggesting that Redline should sign him. I'm sure they very much like having the Frenchman on the roster, but that is a conversation for another time. Your biggest gainer in this race in terms of positions is not actually Gael Valero, it's actually Juan Blaine Nat, who is up to 7, up 12. Here comes Gael Valero into the slipstream of the 13 of Tobias Soriano. It's no move there for the Frenchman in towards the bus stop though, but he'll try to get a better exit and get past in towards the first corner, pardon me. As you can see, we're heading into the second half of this final heat now. Gael Valero, it would be a fool really not to tip him for at least a podium here.
Oh, I think he's going to win here, to be honest. He's got this speed. Oh, that was close. Tobias moved a mil or 2 to the right there, and that would have been it. Oh, Tobias trying to go around the outside. He's went deep. I think he's going to lose the back end. Oh, he had a wobble. He had a wobble there. Pedro Dean's going to let him through, so Tobias is up in the P2 at the moment. He hasn't let Valero up the inside. Dean's been very cautious at the moment. He's being very nice about it. The younger driver being very nice at the moment, trying to not make enemies. Pedro Dean, does he cover here? No. Oh, a little bit. He sat in the middle of the track. One or the other, but he's done well there, and Valero's just going to be up in a P3. I think with the Ferrari up front, he doesn't have the straight line speed, so Tobias is just going to drag race this on the big banking section. How many degrees did you say? 36?
31.
31. A little bit too much, but 31 degrees of banking, and look at this. Watch. I'm just going to sit here and be quiet and watch them just go straight around the outside.
Here comes Tobias Soriano and Gael Valero around the outside of Gaston.
What a drive. How good is that Ford? That is a rocket ship. I was like, maybe they might not get it done, but yeah, they just went straight around the outside with ease, and look at that. So these two just going to push straight down the main straight, and look at that. Great drive from Valero. Does Valero just go straight around the outside, or does he do what he did with Harrison and wait? But Bias would know what's happened in the last race, so does he just cover him like crazy? Look at this. No, Gaston trying to have a look up the inside. I forgot it was Gaston, actually. My apologies. I thought it was someone else. So Gaston doing really well in P3. He's had some really good results in this season of AMX. So I think he would be happy if he got a P3 with Pedro Dean and Peter Zuber behind him, and Juan, who Juan's had a great drive at the moment in P3. Juan, he's had some really good drives recently, and I think he wants to put that back on the. He wants to have another one. So Juan doing really well. I just need a sip of water because my mouth is really dry at the moment, which I don't know why. I think I talk too much.
Yeah, the Ford is certainly a rocket ship. Ford GT, that car that we are looking at from the front too, is a 3.6 litre EcoBoost V6 twin turbo, 530 brake horsepower, it's 494 foot-pound torque. I have written in my notes, very good straight line speed. I think it's safe to say it does. It has absolutely blown the Ferrari engine out of the water here this evening, and the Porsche of Pedro Dean as well. But in towards the bus stop, I think Gael might be smart to stay behind here, because although he's quicker than Tobias, I don't think he's going to be able to pull away if he did go in front. So I think he is smart for a bit of bump drafting, a little bit of nudging, and they're extending the gap to Gaston Calhavi as well. So it's really a win-win for Gael. I think it'll be a similar tactic to how he won the first heat.
For sure, and I think Valero's just, like I said in the bit there, I was like, I don't think he's going to do it, because at the end of the day, like, I think Tobias is going, right, if I go behind him, I'm still getting second. Oh, 3 wide. Oh, Pedro Dean just sitting in the middle of the track. Great driving from Dean there. He's had some really good driving recently, and he's on the Logitech as well. I saw before with the little band, the little metal band. 2 wide from Peter Zuber and Bruno here. Oh, contact. Nope. That was close. No, that's Juan. My apologies. Juan just battling through there. Oh, Peter Zuber on the outside. Juan on the inside. Now on the outside, Pedro Dean. Oh, he's done well there. He's going to pull away just a little bit. Zuber trying to find the way around the outside. I don't think he's going to get it. Understeer the whole way out. And look at this. Bruno's back in this. Bruno's going to be side by side with Pedro Dean now. Not Pedro Dean, Peter Zuber. Too many names. Peter Zuber.
This is incredible racing. That was almost like a movie scene, looking back at the three of them go 3 wide round the banking as we look at the battle for the race lead once again. Gael is very close this time round. It is action-packed throughout the top 7 here at AMX. Honestly, if you don't love AMX at this point, what are you doing? You've got to make sure you check out all the other AMX content after the race here, and make sure you are subscribing for more fabulous races. There is 6 races a week. You'd be a fool to miss them. As we go back to our one here, El Valero once again looking really to go down on the apron. You're not allowed to dip below that yellow line and make it overtake. There. Pedro Dean gets past. Oh, it's 3 wide in the background. It is Ford, Ferrari and Porsche. Can you get 3 better names in racing who are going 3 wide in towards the first corner at the world centre of racing? This is just a beautiful spectacle to witness here this evening in AMX 10. It is nothing short of fantastic. Gaston Calhavi, who come out of that fantastic battle on top. We're now looking back from Pedro Dean. That's Juan Blaine Nat, who's going down the inside. There's a bit of a nudge of the Porsche. Pedro Zuber trying around the outside of Bruno De Carmo as well. Yeah, so close between the two. They're going to stay 2 wide down towards the dog leg. Left-hander return number 4. Porsche on the inside. Ford on the outside. Now it's Ford on the inside. Porsche on the outside. It'll be Pedro Dean who's trying to hang around the outside. That's a no-go. Juan Blade Nat's not only got through, Bruno De Carmo has as well.
Great driving from the Juan there, just bumping Dean just a little bit. That is very smart driving. That's NASCAR-esque. He's just bumped him just enough. No massive contact. It's just a bump. Just all that's all he needed, because it just offsetted that Porsche, because it's a rear-engine car. Or you could go it's a mid-engine, but let's not play that debate now. But Peter Zuber on the pardon.
It's not the time for that debate.
Yeah, for sure. Peter Zuber on the back of this battle as well. Gaston just leading this little pack here. I would be a little scared if I was Gaston. He's got a Ford behind him. He's got a Porsche and a Ferrari. All different cars. But look at this Ford straight around the outside. He's going to get this done before turn one. Now look at Bruno now. Bruno's on the back. The two Ferraris working together now. We've seen this with the two Fords. The Ford and the Porsche working together. We've never seen that in history before. Pedro Dean working with the Ferraris now. He knows where the pace is. Pedro Dean on the back. Peter Zuber going to work with the Ford now. Understeer from Juan there. Juan's going to try and find the grip around the outside. Pedro Dean's going to have to battle again with that Logitech. Round the outside. Pedro Dean finding the understeer from Pedro Dean. Oh, Pedro Dean's still got a little bit of grip on the exit there, so he's not going to lose control. Peter Zuber trying to go around the outside. Peter Zuber gets it done with that V6 Turbo Eco Boost. Round the outside, Juan, understeer, oversteer, understeer still. Doesn't lose the car, and Juan somehow gains the control of that Ford, and they come out of the... I was going to say stadium there, but... no, not corkscrew. Hold on, Connor. But coming out of the section now and onto the big oval, and the Ferraris working together. They know they need to work together, because look at that Ford. He's going to put his foot down with that EcoBoost. And look at this. Does he commit? I think he's going to commit. He committed. And the Ford gets around one of the Ferraris now. He separated the Ferraris. That's smart driving. He knows if he can split the Ferraris, he's in for a shot of getting a podium. Juan doing very well. The man is on a mission with that Ford. Look around. Look straight around the outside with ease. With ease, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't even need to do anything. Straight around the outside. Gets in front of him. Smart driving. He's got the inside now. The Ferrari's going to have to go around the outside. Bump drafting. They're barely in front of this Ford. Too wide. On entry. The Ferraris working together. Bruno going on the inside, trying to go around the outside of 3 here. Turn 2. Does he get it done? The Ferrari does have good cornering speed. Contact with the Ford and the Ferrari. Ford vs Ferrari, great movie by the way. With Peter Zuber back in this battle now with Bruno. If Bruno can split these two Fords, they've got a chance. They've got a chance, because the moment that those two Fords working together, they are gone. They're Gonski out of this battle.
What an incredible fight it is. It's truly fantastic, as Juan Blainats just about leads Bruno De Carmo, but the battle for the race lead is still on, and it's familiar territory for Gael Valero, because he was in this exact scenario with Kieran Harrison looking to try and take the race win, but here he goes. Into the slipstream goes Gael Valero on Tobias Soriano. It's a different challenger for the Frenchman, but it's a similar situation. He'll stay behind into the bus stop. The tactics he played the last time was he pulled out of the draft, pulled back in, and just got an absolute launch down towards the first corner. It's a Ford as well, so he won't necessarily get such a huge advantage as he's had over the Ferraris and the Porsches, but he's got a brilliant exit. It's the exact same tactic. He's going to try and drag Tobias Soriano high, and he's staying high as well. Going to tuck into the slipstream. This is like NASCAR racing. It's a bit of side drafting for Gael Valero down towards the line. It's side by side. It's the Frenchman who's going to do it again. The first time felt so nice. He had to do it twice. Gael Valero has pulled an absolute masterclass this evening. 2 wins from 2. All he missed is the pole. The Bruno De Carmo 3rd, Pedro Dean 4th, Juan Blainat 5th, and Fabio Zamperlini in 6th position. Amazing racing.
We've missed something because Zuber dropped back. We've missed something. Zamperlini in P6.
You might have got it wrong for the bus stop, maybe.
There's a replay we need to pull up. But there was a Frenchman that drove the Ford GT, showing that a Frenchman and a Ford is just the perfect combo. And he's going to be taking home a bit of cash tonight. And,
oh, where is he going? Parc Ferme looks a bit different in Daytona, seemingly. But what an evening of racing. We will be hearing from Gael Valero shortly. But first, we're going to pull up your race results here at the World Centre of Racing. What a fabulous event that truly was. Your BenQ session winner. Who else but Gael Valero? He wins by a larger margin than he did over Kieran Harrison, but it's the same result. He picks up the $30 prize. Tobias Soriano in second, Bruno De Carlo in third, Pedro Dean in fourth, Juan Blanat in fifth, Fabio Zamperlini in sixth, Gaston Calhavi in seventh, Petr Zuba in eighth, Victor Miranda in ninth, Ralph Benitez in 10th, Fabio De Carmo in 11th, Boris Ovando in 12th, Martin Chico 13th, ahead of Simon de Mori in 14th, then it is Jackson Resenge, Gustavo Ariel, Kieran Harrison and Tim State. The fastest lap went to Victor Miranda, so two different fastest lap holders in the two races.
And,
what a fabulous evening we've had here in Daytona. We're going to hopefully bring you a couple interviews, but first, Connor, that was just excellent, wasn't it?
Oh, it was crazy. Same as last night. I tell you what, I would have not expected to have 2 nights of full racing when my voice is just completely dead. I've got the driest throat at the moment, and look at my water bottle, and I've almost finished this whole water bottle. So it shows how good the racing is, and and yeah, the racing's just been spectacular by everyone. It's great to see these drivers have so much respect. And the racing's amazing. It's almost like, you know, these guys race every week, but it's almost like they race every day, but they only race three times a week, and you know, it's like they raced every day, you know, with each other, and yeah, the racing's just amazing. So congrats to all of them, really.
Yes, we're going to hear from a few of the drivers now. I believe we're going to hear from your double race winner, Gael Valero, first, but we will pop over for a few interviews now. Or maybe we won't. Maybe we'll wait a few minutes, but the first person... Oh no, sorry, we will. Zuba will be the first man. We'll hear from him and ask him about his races. We had a lot of really quick drivers, as now we have the quickest of the bunch. Gael, can you hear me?
It's unfair to say quick. I always had a Ford by my side.
You won both races here this evening. You literally can't do any better than that. Surely you have to be happy.
Could have done pole and both fastest lap. Still margin. Nah, okay, I'm fine. I'm fine with winning. I actually had a couple of tough races around here. I remember the LMDH one was quite tricky, yeah. But yeah, I mean, double win is actually probably my first, so it's good that's in it, Ford. Thank you, Ford.
You pulled a masterclass really with getting back into the slipstream with the front guys when you're coming back through the field. You were doing a lot of bump drafting to Tobias and Kieran. Was that always your plan to bump draft and go for it on the last lap, or did it just happen like that?
Yeah, it was quite clear quite early on that the other car models would have some straight line speed deficit, so they're all quite topped at 282, but the way they go there is quite different. And yeah, just managing to have a Ford partner that basically couldn't be matched, so First round was Kiran, and yeah, we gelled quite well together. And second was Toby, just happened to be him. Could have been anybody, to be honest, but the guy that was moving up with me, so we move up together and we finish together.
And final question, was it nice to finally have the Ford as the quickest car this evening? Because let's be real, you have been so faithful to that Ford all season.
It was fine at Bathurst, it's fine at a lot of tracks, it's just, yeah, happens to be the best for AMX.
Gael, thank you very much for joining me. Congratulations. Someone's already quoted your quote, could have been pole, could have been the fastest laps in the chat, so hopefully that's, I don't know, stuck on some t-shirts or something for time to come. But thank you very much, Gael, and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Evan. See you next time.
Now we will hear from a man who had just as busy a race. We will be hearing from Petr Zuba soon. Petr was involved in an incident at the end, we think. We're going to have to ask him and see what actually happened there, as had a few issues late on in that race. Petr, hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Evan. Yes, I can.
Bit of a mixed bag maybe for you this evening. There was a lot of sort of incidents, a lot of close battling, but how did you find it out there? Because it was really exciting for us to watch.
Indeed, I think it has been one of the best races. Not in terms of result for me, but the fighting. It was really nice. I think everyone tried to keep it as clean as possible. Some argy-bargy here and there, but I think it was great fun.
For yourself, it was third in the first race, so on the podium, but then at the end we saw you slip down a little bit. We didn't quite catch it on the broadcast. Was there maybe an incident in the bus stop or something, or was it just slipstream?
Definitely an incident. Then P3 and P4 were fighting in the bus stop, and I think one of them heavily overslowed the car, so they were side by side going into the bus stop, and they were extremely slow. One of them even went onto the grass, and as he rejoined, it sort of caused a pile-up of some sort. I had to brake, I had to back off, and people behind me with extra momentum just hit my side. So nothing really I could do. I don't think I could have done anything, to be honest.
Unfortunate to hear, but we know some people like this close, really door-to-door racing and bump drafting and stuff. Did you enjoy tonight's action at Daytona? Is it a track you like?
Absolutely, it was great fun. I think Daytona brings really good races if it's sprint races. So if there's Daytona there on the schedule, I'm all for it.
Heather, thank you very much for joining us. Greatly appreciated, and yeah, congratulations.
Thank you guys, have a good one.
That's all we do have time for interviews this evening, folks. Was great to hear from Gael and from Petr, two drivers who so quick in AMX. We'll be heading back to Connor for one final sort of roundup, and then we'll get your final results shortly. In iRacing, really goes to show how two sim racing platforms can both be absolutely excellent when the drivers are right, really. Connor, can you hear me again?
Yes. Sorry, just had to go away from the comm box for a second, but we're all good now. So
I was wondering where our pretty faces were gone.
Yeah,
but
just
Connor,
had to step away for a second.
While we are waiting on the results to come through, just try some up for tonight, because I really do think it was fantastic.
I think really if this is kind of the end of this season, I really wonder what the next season will be, because if next season's even close to this racing, it will be a very, very, very good season for next season.
Yeah, of course, there'll be plenty more information about next season if you're interested in that. That'll be posted on our social channels and stuff. It'll also be posted on amxrace.com, which of course you can check out. You can check it out now if you really wanted to. There won't be any information posted, but you can go on it whenever. Make sure to check out our social media channels as well. Of course, they'll be coming up at the bottom, on the bottom shortly. And big thanks, of course, to all our sponsors and helpers for AMX. As it really has been a fantastic season. It's not over yet. We still have a few more weeks. Speaking of those few more weeks, Connor, up next week on AMX, we do have a couple more fabulous track combinations. You mentioned the Corkscrew. We have the Toyota GR86 at Laguna Seca on Tuesday, as well as the TCR class at the Nürburgring Grand Prix. As a driver, what's your thoughts on those tracks?
I think the Laguna Seca with the 86s could be very good. We've seen those through. I haven't actually commentated. I think I've actually missed the 86s races, but yeah, for commentating, I think that will be really good because you can really side-to-side contact with those cars. So it should be really good. Then, yeah, TCR racing's just great in general. I don't think there's ever really some bad races with TCRs. I can't remember a bad TCR race I've ever seen. So, yeah, I think those combos could be really good. But, yeah, it should be good. And, yeah, we're coming to a close of the end of the season, and I feel like it's just went like that. And yeah, it's kind of weird.
You're absolutely spot on about TCR. It's a fabulous car. I was at a bit of local racing during the weekend and was speaking to a former TCR user, Max Hard, and the TCR is the best, and he's driven a bit of everything. But first, it's time for the results. I think we know who might be at the top of it, but let's bring them up nonetheless. It is Gael Valero, who's your winner of this evening. He takes his third win of the season, third evening win of the season, of course. Then it was Tobias Soriano in second, ahead of Juan Blenat in third. Then it was Bruno De Carmo in fourth, ahead of Kieran Harrison in fifth. Peter Zuma tied for fifth with Kieran, and then it was Victor Miranda in sixth, Gustavo Ariel in seventh, and it was Alexei Nezov in eighth, and Simon de Mori tied for eighth as well with $24. But Connor, I think that about does us for this evening. Fabulous evening of racing. Thank you very much for joining me for it.
Oh, it's all good, mate. It's my pleasure. Just go commentating with you, as usual.
Next, for AMX, we were discussing, we have Laguna Seca and the Nürburgring coming up. But once again, thank you for your support first and foremost. But remember, if you want to check out more AMX, you can do it on all the links below and amxrace.com. That's amxrace.com. I think if you just do amx.com, you're asked to buy windowsills or something. I remember I did it once, but it's amxrace.com. Remember that. My name's been Evan Connor alongside me. Thank you very much for joining me. Stay safe, stay well, and we shall see you next week. Have a great week, folks.